Well, it's not often that a potential grand final matchup is knocked off top billing, but we are down here at Kardinia Park today for the Cats and the Swans in round 12 action. Sir Doug Nicholls round. The Cats are fresh off defeating the reigning premiers, while the Swans are kicking goals for fun and racking up the wins along the way. Good afternoon and welcome to Kardinia Park. This is Geelong and Sydney. I'm Andrew Mays. Very excited about what is going to be an absolutely cracking afternoon alongside me to call all the action. It's a very good afternoon to you, Ian Cohen.
Hello, Maisie. How are you? There we go.
Very good.
Lovely to have you along. I love it when the numbers line up. And so there's two numbers out there that are going to have big say in what is going to happen this afternoon. Number 5s on both teams, Isaac Heaney and, of course, Jez Cameron, and the 35s of Danger and of Curnow. And I reckon those four across those two numbers will have a big, big say. The other thing I want to find out is, where do the taggers go? Where do the taggers go? Jordan's been so good for the Swans, and we know how good the Irishmen are for the Cats as well. So there's going to be a lot of intrigue happening.
Well, we're about 15 minutes away from the bounce, and that was one very pertinent question I'll be asking our expert commentator today on ABC Sport. Cameron Ling, triple premiership player, premiership captain at the Cats, of course. 246 games in the hoops. Good afternoon to you, Lingy.
Good afternoon, Maisie. Good afternoon, Coes. Great to see you both. Good afternoon to everyone out there. Yeah, can't wait for this one. It's funny, the whole week has been Scott Pendlebury, and quite rightly so. Congratulations to him. But this is the match of the round, the old-fashioned match of the round at Kardinia Park. The Sydney Swans actually play this ground pretty well. They've got a good record here, and the Cats in good form after knocking off Collingwood and then that terrific game last week at the Gabba against the Brisbane Lions. So many key matchups. You mentioned some of those numbers, Coase. Throw in the ruck duel, Brodie Grundy, possibly All-Australian ruckman, probably All-Australian ruckman right now, against Mitch Edwards very, very early on in his career. James Jordan probably goes to Max Holmes, I think, but could be Bailey Smith. Oisin Mullen probably goes to Isaac Heaney, but could be Chad Warner. So many little key matchups that are going to influence this game. Can't wait for it.
No, it's going to be sensational. The weather's held off as well. It's about 19 degrees outside at the moment, so nice and comfortable. Not too much of a breeze down there. We'll get a bit of a closer check on the conditions closer to the first ball up of the afternoon. Marnie Vinyl joining us on the boundary a little later. Lingy, on those matchups as well, I want to get inside the taggers' mind. So Oisin Mullen, he's really become a story this year. Yeah. We saw what he did last week, and we saw his pace against Brisbane as well, which I think is something that maybe you take a little bit for granted with run with players, but just his impact over, they did call, I don't know who coined it, but they did call him the Irish Dacos in terms of his effect, and that was a really high praise for him coming over from the Gaelic game. But what's his mindset today? Is he thinking about 4 different matchups he might have? Is he a homework guy? What would be in his mind coming into today?
He's been so important for them, hasn't he? And I think, say, last week it would have been, you're going to Neil, let's lock Lachie Neil away, let's get off him if you can. And we saw him, he almost kicked the first goal of the game. He kicked that other goal from the goal square, and I think he might have even had a third shot at goal. So he's adding that to his game. Today's a little bit different because his potential matchups, and 2 of them I alluded to, spend a lot of time forward. Now, Oisin he can comfortably go back, but I think where he's finding his best football and his best balance is through the middle of the ground. So in his preparation, you asked Maisie, if it's Heaney is his number 1 priority initially. Heaney's in the midfield, you take him. However, if Heaney's deep forward, we're going to send probably Mark O'Connor maybe to him. So therefore, roll to Chad Warner. What happens, though, if Warner then immediately goes forward as well, Heaney comes up, do you just stay on the ground? Because you don't want to overcook him either, having to go from Warner to Heaney to the next one, and you end up spent. So they will have done the what-if scenarios for Oisin, but he's also got to work within a system of that midfield, and he can't rip apart the way they want to play as a midfield group. So he's got so many things going through his head, but then he's got to stop all that at some stage and go, the ball is there. I can win it. I'm in a better position than my opponent. I've still got to play on instinct and go for the football.
How hard did you find that? How hard did you find that where you actually are so conscious of the 6-foot body in front of you that you got to go, well, there's a red Sharon out here I need to chase as well?
Yeah, I learned it early on, Coase, because I had couple of goes at it. Early on, I got 2 games playing as a tagger, and I was total negative. Forgot about that red Sharon floating around. And Bomber Thompson dropped me, and he said, if you're going to keep playing like that, you won't be playing anymore. He said, I want you to run with the guy, and yes, nullify him, but you've got to be able to win the ball. You've got to be able to make decisions. The ball's there. Go and win it. Go and get a handball, receive, whatever it is. That's the player I want. And if you can't do that, there's no spot for you. If you can do that, we're going to play a lot of footy together. And fortunately, it ended up the latter rather than the former.
We're about 6 minutes away from the opening bounce. Just some late team news as well. One late change for the Cats. Kolajasny comes in and Tannen Bruin has been managed. So he's out of the lineup for this afternoon. It is, of course, Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Both teams have gathered in Geelong in their Indigenous top again this afternoon, which looks sensational. Great to see a lot of the local clubs out on Cardinia Park beforehand, a little earlier as well, modelling their local versions. And let's head down now to the Welcome to Country.
Clubs welcome you to Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Please welcome for a cultural ceremony Wadawurrung woman Karina Eccles.
In Wadawurrung language, I said we are gathered on Wadawurrung country. Kimbani, I welcomed you to the lands of Wadawurrung people. Wadawurrung people were known as the people that belonged to the waters. You are Gayupan Gulma Miriyu, gathered on today. Muan Bengodingadak, King Bill, Wedi Garonguli Wadawurrung. Na lingui Kimbani Wadawurrung Ja, Bunani Dulama Bengadak Ba, Gayupan Gulma. Moradop Makbore. In Wadawurrung language, I said, from my ancestors, family, community, I welcome you all here on Wadawurrung country. Let us all come together, embrace each other, and gather in peace. Gayupan Gulma Kardini Yu Miriyu. Today, we are gathered at a place of morning sun here at Cardinia Park. Yatni Bagubada, thank you. And take care.
Thank you.
So the conclusion of the Welcome to Country, Karina Eccles there, Wadawurrung woman leading the ceremony this afternoon as the Cats and the Swans head back inside their attacking 50s to warm up and complete their preparations for what should be a cracking afternoon of football, which has already been, if you're just joining us, Cam Zurhaar winning the game for North Melbourne against the Suns, coming from 38 points down at half-time to beat them after the siren with a goal to sink the Suns, and that's pretty disappointing for Damien Hardaway. You won't be liking Dockland Stadium anymore, Lingy. Who have you got this afternoon?
Just quickly, Maisie, there's going to be a little bit of discussion about that ending goal. So the free kick was paid to Zurhaar, and 2 North Melbourne players tried to take the advantage and actually couldn't get it through. They kept missing the ball, but they tried to take the advantage. The umpire decided that, no, I'll bring it back. Once the players decide they want to take the advantage, it's advantage. It actually shouldn't have been a score.
Yep.
Probably should have ended up in a draw. So there's going to be a bit of conversation around that one.
I'll have a bit more of a chat about that at half-time. Very interesting scenes at the end of the game there, of course, and Damien Hardwick won't be liking Dockland Stadium anymore. Cameron Ling, who have you got this afternoon? Who have you got coming out on top? Tell us where and how this game is going to be won.
I'm expecting a brilliant game of footy. Both teams score really heavily. Both teams really sound defensively, strong midfields. Of course, the heart's going to say the Cats, but I do rate the Sydney Swans incredibly highly. They've got so many match winners. We've been discussing Warner and Heaney and Grundy. You mentioned Charlie Curnow, Coase. We haven't even mentioned Nick Blakey yet, who is in dynamite form and so important with that run off half-back. And on a ground like this, if you can launch quickly off half-back, you can, because it's a bit skinny, you can slice through the middle of the ground, get it in quick, it can set up a win. I've got the Cats winning, but of course all the listeners know that I'm slightly on the bias side when it comes to tipping the blue and white.
Fair enough, Lee, fair enough. In terms of going quickly here as well, obviously we've seen that run and gun. It's really defined their style this year, the Sydney Swans, of being able to absolutely springboard off half-back. How much will Geelong be able to set up for that, and how important is Tom Stewart? We saw almost play his best game for Geelong last week.
Was incredible, wasn't he? Amazing. So many intercepts. And you're right. So if you want to run and gun on this ground, you cannot hesitate. Again, people think we make too much of it because of the different ground shape. It's just an oval. But no, it is quite skinny, especially compared to the MCG. Even the SCG's got a bit of roundness to it, so you can have greater width and you might get little pockets of open space through the middle of the ground. This is skinny, but it can still be open. But you have to pull the trigger straight away. If you hesitate and hold it and doubt yourself with that kick, Geelong will be able to close it down and then have it set up brilliantly, and they'll just live with it in their forward half. If you bite it off and you take it, you can absolutely still slice through on this ground.
Under a minute to go. Let's head downstairs and get a sense of the atmosphere. Marnie Vinyl, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me because it is very loud down here. I really do think Geelong home games are such a good atmosphere, though I wouldn't want to be a Swan supporter here because they are far and few between in this crowd. There's some nervous-looking kids in Swans gear right next to me. You did mention the weather, and you said that it's holding off, but there's a nice blanket of clouds, so I'm also hoping that holds off because I did not bring a hood. It is Callum Mills won the coin toss and the Swans have elected to kick towards the Barwon River stand.
Looking forward to that. It is going to be a wonderful afternoon of football. 2 top 4 aspirants, 2 grand final aspirants, and 2 of the hot form teams of the competition in the opening half of the season. The Swans have come down to the Cannery. What can they go home with to call all the action this afternoon? Ian Cohen on ABC Sport.
Thanks, Maisie. About to get underway here at Cardinia Park. It's going to be Mitch Edwards up against Brodie Grundy. Grundy running towards the Barwon River end. Edwards got this one down. Sharked though quickly by Heaney. A tumbling punt goes towards half forward, but O'Connor, just clever and smooth, delivers it out to Dempsey, far side wing, in front of the big bones of the Reg Hickey stand side. So Dempsey will look to send it long down the line. The marking targets form up. Shannon Neal crashed into the back of Edwards. Edwards is slow to get up as well. And the ball is in congestion right on centre wing. Eventually it comes out. Cats with numbers. High hacking ball out of bounds on the full. It will be Nick Blakey with a free kick at left halfback.
A couple of those quick matchups. It's Connor O'Sullivan on Charlie Curnow. And as expected, Mullen has got Heaney, who started in the middle of the ground. But we'll watch what happens when Heaney drifts forward.
Blakey steps inboard, goes to Melican inside his defensive 50, and he goes out wider still to Edwards, who trots off along right half back, kicks down towards Curnow, tried to palm it towards Rowbottom, couldn't take the mark. O'Sullivan's in there. Rowbottom tries to squirt it out with a hand pass, back into congestion, working hard O'Sullivan to make sure it doesn't pop out as Papley was burrowing his way through. We'll have a ball up 55 around from the Swans goal. Minute played, no score.
2 great teams, 9-1, 7-3. There's a whistle on play and it's going to be awarded to Isaac Heaney or Brodie Grundy, I think, out of that ruck contest. So Grundy with a chance to launch the Swans deep into attack. They're attacking the Barwon River end. He goes to the right-hand forward pocket and the mark is taken down there. I reckon that might be Cleary down there.
Within probably a millimetre of the boundary line, a perfect kick from Brodie Grundy. It was in.
Just inside. He took it on the chest. It will be a tight angle, but we've seen the likes of Akabanis kick them from these pockets here. He comes in and he's gone the banana, and it's pretty good. Swans are on the board early. Great goal there from Caden Cleary. Probably not someone people might have had as their first goal kicker. Charlie Curnow, of course, the local boy, he'll want to get into the action as well, Lingy.
Absolutely, he will. But there was a lot of focus on Curnow and Amadi from the Geelong defenders, and quite rightly so. That probably where they expected the kick to go from Brodie Grundy. But Cleary just stayed on the move and took whatever space he could. It was incredibly wide, but when you've got the skills to kick him like that from the boundary, don't worry about getting it wide. Beautiful banana.
It was excellent. One of two inclusions this afternoon for the Swans, with Tom Hanley as well into the team. And how's that for your first possession of the afternoon? And the Swans cheer squad behind there. Good contingent down there. They were right behind it and cheering it all the way home. Back in the middle, Heaney. Hand pass inboard to McInerney, and now off to Warner, who's through the middle, low piercing ball. No one can take the mark. He followed up with the crumb though. Warner snaps off his left to the top of the goal square. Cleary again, 2 in a minute. Could have kicked it when the hand pass to Rowbottom. Intercepted that time by Humphreys. He's taken the ground. Umpire says holding the ball, does he?
Wow.
Wow.
Must have thought he had prior opportunity.
That was very hot.
Not sure what he could have done with that.
Rowbottom with the free kick. Now, he's on a little bit of an angle, but he's only 10 metres out. This for the perfect start for Sydney. 2 in a minute, he's missed. Little casual with the left foot snap. 15 metres out from goal. It slams into the post for one behind. 1-1-7. The Cats yet to score, and another chance coming up here for the Swans. Intercept mark taken by Blakey, who was drifting forward, got in front of Martin and took an easy mark.
Yeah, he read it well. Tom Stewart kicking out after the behind. Just showed a little bit too much of the footy, and Blakey read the cues, knew that it was going to Jack Martin, and his closing speed is incredible. For such a big guy, 196 centimetres, he's lightning fast. And we know he won't have any issues with the distance from here.
Easy to forget he played a little bit as a key forward early on in his career as well. So Blakey, he didn't look confident in kicking it. He's fooled everyone. He's gone straight to McInerney, who's 40 out directly in front, standing on his own.
Clever kick, better shot position. The Cats defenders are probably more the midfielders, and that line of the 50 just went to sleep. I think we all expected him to have a shot, given how well he kicks the ball, how long he kicks it.
Only 40 out, but this is a much easier shot for McInerney, who'll start his approach from outside 50, gets to 40, kicks, he's pulled it a little, it's coming back, not quite enough. And it is one behind. So after all that, maybe he should have pulled the trigger himself. 1-2-8. The Swans leading. The Cats yet to score. 5 played opening turn.
This time it's Humphreys brings it in. He's got a quick handball, and suddenly they're at centre wing. Dempsey couldn't quite take the mark. Now he's got to find it at ground level. Stacks on. Isaac Heaney wrapping it up. No one going anywhere. So the Cats genuinely, Lingy, get to go into attack, and we've played 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, and every time the Swans get it, they look incredibly dangerous, and really should be 3 goals straight up.
This might be an opportunity. It was a quick handball from Holmes out to Humphreys. They continue to work it along. The run comes for the Cats. It's a low ball inside forward 50, but chopped off by Malikan, top of the square. So the Swans were awake up to that one. They're at the Selwood stand end. This time he brings it broadcast side, looking for Lloyd, the boy from Horsham.
See, they make
52 out, he marks.
They make what we call the ground big. They get players really wide and just happy to take those ones.
And then he goes long down the line. It's punched away right in front of the Cats bench. Not easy to make this ground big, by the way, Cameron Lee.
No, exactly. So they're doing a good job of it. Even that kick there, it's not a worry. Immediately Lloyd looked inboard. He wanted to open the ground. If it's clogged up, then don't be afraid. Go long down the line. Go back to a stoppage situation, which they're good at.
Edwards and Brodie, Grundy engage again. Holmes, left foot, hacking ball, 55 out. It bounces in front of the pack, and it will be seen out over the boundary line. Jack Henry unable to mark. So we've travelled 6.5 minutes, and it's the Swans by 8 points. Cats yet to score.
Ball to be thrown back into play. Left half forward here for Geelong. High throw in. Palmed down by Grundy. Only as far as Manor, though. Snaps inside attacking 50. Oh, Martin just positioned Blakey underneath.
Free kick.
But positioned him
You
with his
can't get
hands
away
in
with
the
that
back.
one.
And he pulls the trigger straight down the middle. A little bit of congestion there. A chance now for Humphreys. He spilt it at the last moment. Roses is there. Henry goes in for the Cats. He's taken the ground. Ball spilt free eventually. Hamley's in there. And he gets to his feet. He's holding the ball.
Wow.
Jeez, how hot on that this afternoon. Henry kicks inside attacking 50. Martin fell over, allowing the path through there for Blakey, who goes high with his ball, almost on the full. In fact, Cameron took the mark anyway, and he'll have it on the wing. Swans by 8.
The free roaming Jeremy Cameron. So it's the old 1-2 with Holmes, who now sends it right across. Cameron finds Myers. Myers, quick handball. Mullen, what can he do? Low piercing ball, not marked. Henry attacks it full-chested. Heaney got in the way though. Handball inside. Almost missed his target. They've made it work. Warner has to find it just inside the centre square. He soccers it. Heard the voice on the outside. The run is good from McCartan. Now he's got to try and draw the player. Handball's over the top. Max Holmes is there. And we'll see it out in front. Reg Hickey stands side, just forward of centre wing for the Cats, but they trail it by 8 points.
It's clearly been a direction at some stage during the week about the holding the ball. I did the game last night, and if you picked it up and you got caught at all, it felt like prior opportunity was non-existent. They were paying them left, right and centre, and they're already doing it early today.
Very hot on that so far. Grundy becomes the tackler in that ruck contest. Heaney then becomes the tackler on Atkins as it's held to him, going nowhere. Ball up to take place just forward to centre wing for the Cats.
Umpires wouldn't have a rule of the week, though, would they? What am I talking about?
Warner sharked that tap. He was dispossessed. Back under a couple of pairs of feet. And holding it in there is Manor, who had such a good game last week. Perhaps his best for the Cats. And received the tap here from the ruck contest. He's away too. Kicks inside 50. Oh, well done by Jack Henry. Just got in between Melican and Mills there. He gives a hand pass quickly to Cameron, who snaps and goals. That's the way to get him in the game early. And they answer the early goal from the Swans. And the Cats have their first on the board. 1-2-8 Sydney, 1 straight 6 the Cats, 2 points the margin. We've almost played 10 minutes in the opening term. Your expert on ABC Sport, Cameron Lee.
It was a great grab by Jack Henry. You're right about that call. He just had to fight hard for that position. It looked like Callum Mills was going to be able to come over the top and just get an easy spoil. He did an amazing job last week, Jack Henry, on Harris Andrews, playing as that more defensive type forward, and he's been left as a forward again this week. Probably not with as specific a matchup as last week, but takes the mark. Smart enough to know Jez on your left is a good bet.
I don't know why teams allow Jeremy Cameron to run free quite like that, because it's not like it's a new trick for him. Bailey Smith, clever, hands, Edwards, long driving ball, 40 out from the Cats' goal. They're attacking again. However, it's chopped off, and Wicks, they'll move it now through. It's a good kick by Bice, tries to get it towards half forward. Koning missed it on the way through, but it's mopped up, and Bailey Smith, who's been busy, but that might be a lasso because he couldn't quite get the bouncing ball to come back to him. So Swans will have it again. On the outer side, waiting for some marking targets to come forward. High lofted ball inside the forward 50. No one can take it. There's going to be a whistle on play, and I think Edwards might have done enough to go back and present that big body, Cameron Ling, which is really important for him to do.
Yeah, and only in his 9th game of AFL footy, and he had to stand under that high one. That's just what you have to do as a ruckman sometimes. Drew the free kick, and that's probably should have been a free kick to his opponent, Brodie Grundy, at that marking contest.
O'Sullivan got the kick all the way to the wing, but it's a turnover ball now. Blakey goes to Bice. Bice looking inside 50. Lovely delivery. Amati had it on a plate, takes the mark, 40 out. 45-degree angle to the left.
Yeah, you're right about that delivery. Marty almost hadn't even moved yet. The kick invited him to come at the ball. Joel Amati perfectly weighted, and it gave Connor O'Sullivan, the Geelong defender, absolutely no chance at the play on the ball.
It was funny. I think he might have caught one in the last contest there, Amati, so he hadn't really moved much from that position for the last 60 seconds.
That sounds like forward.
And here comes Joel Amati, looking for his first this afternoon. Strikes that one pretty well. And he's got the second on the board for the Swans. 2-2-14 the visitors, 1 straight 6 the Cats, who played 12 minutes in the opening term on ABC Sport.
If you're going to win today, you're going to have to score because both these teams are being really aggressive with their ball movement. They want to take the game on. They want to use that forward handball and try and break that line to be able to test the last line of the opposition defence. And both teams have got a forward line that can kick big scores. Obviously, Charlie Curnow deep, but Amati's there. Throw in Logan McDonald, then the smalls around him. Up the other end, we know Jeremy Cameron and Shannon Neal and Dangerfield are all capable of kicking plenty of goals. So I feel like if the weather holds off, we're going to get a high-scoring one today.
Seems to be a rotation with James Jordan. He was on Bailey Smith. Now it's Max Holmes that he's got, and it's Holmes that retrieves the ball. Heads out to the broadcast side. Good smother, though, by his opposite number in Jordan. It falls to Close. Close has to pick it up. Was dispossessed. Edwards was really good by hand. Now the Cats have got a chance to go through Atkins. The kick didn't find its target and was punched away. Swans defence standing resolute. So 35 around from the Selwood stand end. Geelong are into attack, but they trail it by 8 points.
That's the worry of you, James Jordan. If you've got to keep rolling between Bailey Smith and Max Holmes, you are going to be exhausted by the end of the day.
He's going to know he's played a game of football. That is for sure. Neil doing the ruck work for the Cats. Came down to Wicks. He was dispossessed. Martin decamps with it. Handballs it back to the paint of 50. Kolajasny tries a don't argue. Ball was dropped. Brian Myers with that knee hanging by a thread. He's still playing some good football though. Swans stand up resolute. Blakey has to get the handball over the top. Now they've got a chance to escape down to the far side. It's Bice with the ball.
Bice, little skitter inboard. It might work out because Papley's hands were beautiful at ground level. He chips inboard. He's overcooked that. Dangerfield able to get the left fist in. Then he became the crummer and got the handball away. Turned it over though. Edwards coming the other way. He's tackled strongly. Ball spilt free. Umpire said play on. It's going nowhere. He finally calls for a ball up just on the edge of the centre square. Cats into attack. Trailing by 8. 14 gone in the opening term. Palm down Geelong's way. Dangerfield in there on hands and knees. Tries to get to his feet. He does that so well. Got it off to Blitzarves, who was immediately tackled. Another ball up to take place. Cats have gained about 10 metres. Andrew Mays, Ian Cohen and Cameron Ling calling it for you with Marnie Vinyl on the boundary this afternoon.
Blitzarves got this one away. Humphreys tries to work through a big pack of players. Can't progress, and 55 out, far side of the ground. We'll have another bounce or a throw-up, as we do these days. So Blitzarves got this one down. Holmes has been busy in this opening quarter. Fashioned a kick as he was getting thrown down to ground. Went nowhere, though, in the end. Blakey has to absorb the tackle. Got it out to Wicks. They've actually moved it through Sheldrick. Suddenly they get to the far side of the centre, but it's Guthrie there. Works with Humphreys. Low ball from him is very good. Shannon Neal, big target against the man who debuted this year in Edwards for the Swans, and Neal marks directly in front. He'll have to kick from 52.
He's been a beautiful set shot goal kicker in his young career so far, but I tell you what, if you're going to get through the hard contested ball stuff today, you have to make sure your skills can then execute, because if you turn the ball over, the other team today is going to make you pay.
Shannon Neal, 44 goals in his debut season. This is an important one for the Cats. He set sail for home. It's gone left-hand side of the big pole, and just a minor one. So it's the Swans by 7 points, having travelled quarter of an hour opening quarter.
It was always going to happen, Lingy, until he pumped him up with his goal kicking.
He actually got too close to man on the mark. I reckon he was worried about the distance when he shouldn't be, because he can roost it.
He's just about the best set shot in the AFL.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful kick of the footy. Melican receives the kick in. At 50, high kick. Good mark there in the end. Oh no, it's a free kick. The Swans were absolute. McDonald had given it to Lloyd, who was off and running, but O'Sullivan will receive the free kick. O'Sullivan by hand to Humphreys. On his left goes around the boundary towards Manor, who cuts inboard, and that's a lovely kick to present it on a platter for Patrick Dangerfield. Full-chested, takes the mark. He's 45, out slide angle to the left.
Sean Manor just continuing on his merry way. He's going to pass it off.
That's an interesting pass, but it's going to end up pretty good. It was a quick ball, sort of caught everyone off guard as Henry had floated forward, and Ollie Henry, his brother, gave it to Jezza before, but there's no doubt he'll be lining up the big sticks from 30 out directly in front.
Yeah, see, Jack's still got the defender mindset. He gives it off to the forward. Ollie's a true forward. He's not looking anywhere else.
He can't hear anyone. He's focused in on kicking Geelong's second of the afternoon. Back to within 1 point. 2 goals apiece. Swans leading just. And we are in for a very, very good afternoon of football. So Ollie Henry kicks his first of the afternoon. And we've played 17 minutes in the opening term. Swans by a point.
When we talk about just a good contested hot footy sort of game, so right now contested possessions 20-16 Geelong's way, but then the tackles have flipped around. So Sydney have laid 15 tackles to only 8 from Geelong. So there's just lots of bodies around that contest, and you need to be clean there, really efficient, get it to the outside. And then when you have that moment, and it's only going to be a moment of time, you have to make sure your kicks hit the target. And Geelong were able to do that well then. Sean Manners' beautiful kick into Dangerfield.
Mullen lining up on Heaney this time, and that's the way Brodie Grundy goes. Heaney picks it up. The Swans handball forward, as we've seen them do all year. It's at half forward now for the Swans. Row bottom, quick kick inside the forward 50. Stewart tracks it back, absorbs the tackle, gets the handball off. They've worked it well. It finishes with Blitzarves on the left foot, right towards the centre wing position. Broadcast side comes down to Bailey Smith. Low searching ball from him. Dangerfield's trying to organise traffic and taps it on beautifully to Brian Myers. Little finessing kick inboard. Danger butted up again, and then a hacking low ball. It is rushed through for a behind, but that was the most unlikely looking goal. It clean bowled 3 of them, and the Swans are away far side. Scores level.
Lloyd runs into the back pocket, loops it over. Long handball towards Heaney. Lloyd just smashes it forward as Heaney gave it back to him. Good tackle in the end there by Hanley to keep it in. They've worked it all the way up just shy of centre wing in a flash, the Swans.
There was so much going on down here. That was brilliant by Dangerfield. First of all, the tap on, then the follow-up, and would have been the most unlikely of goals.
Grundy with the clearance up towards Curnow with the kick. He overran the footy in the end. Now Guthrie, high chip over the top, just allowed Bice to have a little look at it, and he got a fist to it and followed up nicely. Off to Roses. Roses didn't have anything to go to, so he just chipped it with a couple of cats tracking back. Running interference here, but nicely manoeuvred out of the way, McDonald, and Humphreys was able to gather and got it to Myers, who'd run down for support. Oh, Graham Myers has turned it over. Not often you say that. Straight to Sarong. Sarong kicks back inside, attacking 50. Heaney with the one hand. Couldn't stick it. Now a chance on the outer side there for Henry. Comes back inside, turnover ball. Roses, how about this time? Hits the fat side of the footy. It's out of bounds on the full. Well, that was a scrambled effort by the Swans on all counts going inside 50.
So lots of mistakes by both teams there. So last night's game, you'd say it was because of poor skill. Those skill errors are because of the intensity and the pressure that the teams are bringing right now. That is a really hot footy. And even good players make mistakes when the heat's this high.
So Kolajasny got it into Smith. He progressed it to Dempsey, and they've gone all the way down the line to Neal. Forward of centre wing, far side of the ground. Neal wants to square it up. I think the kick was partially smothered. Close almost had a piece of it. This is Edwards now for the Swans. His handball intercepted. Henry picked it up, drove it forward. Top of the square, bouncing ball. It's a race. It's a rush behind. They did just enough to get back. And it might have been the skipper in Callum Mills that just got a feather on that one. Cats in front for the first time this afternoon. 20 minutes gone, opening term, 15 playing 14.
Back to his best this year, Callum Mills, after a couple of injury-interrupted seasons. His kick is good too to Bice in the left back pocket. Goes long with his kick to a 2-on-1. Stewart is able to kill the contest and knocks it out for a boundary throw-in. Just beyond centre wing here for the Swans. 2-3-15 the Cats, leading the Swans 2-2-14. 21 minutes played opening term. West Coast with the first goal of the afternoon against Collingwood. So they lead by a goal, and it was the same margin after the siren for Cam Zerha and the Roos over the Suns a little earlier today.
Keep you up to date on all around the grounds as Holmes goes back with courage. Point of the square out of side in defence. Good strong mark, and you can hear the crowd appreciate that as well. He goes with a lateral ball. over towards broadcast side. The kick to Myers didn't quite progress. O'Sullivan was with that. Now it comes to Close. He has to take a hotly contested mark. It was being closed down by Bice. Now he goes inboard. Myers has been busy. Little short jinking one is good. Oh, Bailey Smith, fingertipper, dropped it. Jordan goes down, the Melbourne Premiership player. He's tackled high, and 51 out from his defensive end. He will get a free kick. Manor stands over him. So James Jordan, tagging role. Demon Premiership player. Well, he's set a task going across the goal face, but it might be okay. McCartan now takes it outside the back paint of 50. Wants the far side of the ground again. The fist was good though. Collar Jasny just over the top of Hanley. And it is out of bounds. Centre wing again. The skinniness of the ground, Cameron Ling, means that you do get a lot of these boundaries come into action a lot.
You do. You absolutely do. And if you notice too, as they try and switch it, a lot of contested marks where you think it's going to be an easy switch and then all of a sudden that player's under enormous pressure.
From the stoppage, Jordan to Lloyd by hand, who kicks inside 50, punched away from Curnow on that occasion. Good solid fist by De Koning, and out for a boundary throw where the 50 meets the boundary line.
Charlie Curnow still yet to get a touch in this one. He's competing hard, working hard, fighting for front position, but just can't quite get into the game yet.
Ball tossed back into play. Grundy and Blitzarves in the ruck. Grundy won it down. Blitzarves won it at ground level. Hand pass only as far as Heaney though. Went the dummy and then threaded it back towards Mills, who kicks inside 50. Curnow out the back. Second grab, couldn't pull it down. De Koning at ground level, got it to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan out to Mullen. Mullen, quick kick round the corner. Henry early fly. Nothing doing. Mills intercepts. Hand pass to McInerney. He goes inboard to the top of the square. De Koning floats in and takes a juggler and a steadying mark for the Cats.
So De Koning across the goal face to Humphries. Nearly. Humphries had to scramble to mark that.
The mark was steady, but not the kick.
He's in the back pocket. Humphries has saved his bacon on that occasion. Blitzarve's got his man under the ball. Cats with the forward attack. Neal wants the middle. That's where Dangerfield is. Will he continue to work in the interior? In the end, he looks forward to Dempsey on the outside. Dempsey, Mills, they collide. Dempsey goes back again. Good by hand to Henry. Good by Henry round the corner. And a goal. So Henry of the Ollie variety has got himself two. And the Cats move to what is a game high for them. 21 points and a lead of 7 points.
Yeah, there was some crucial contests just in front of us here on the wing, and as it slowly transferred to half forward, and Neal was able to get that kick to Dangerfield. And Geelong, the way they like to do, and the Swans do it when they're attacking, that hard running either mid or winger gets forward and creates a positive outnumber in their forward line. So more often than not, you think defenders will have the outnumber. On that occasion, it was 3 Geelong players against 2 Swans players, and Ollie Henry was the one who said thank you very much.
3-3-21 the Cats, 2-2-14 the Swans.
Back in the middle. This is fast pace. It is zinging up and down Cardinia Park. Grundy won the tap in the end against Edwards, but fell on his backside. Allowed Holmes in, who pirouettes, kicks a sack up towards half forward. Now a chance for Blakey, who knew contact was coming, so he threw the blind handball over the shoulder. Jordan, was that a hand pass? Umpire says yes. De Koning in there. Hand pass towards Holmes. He's escorted over the boundary line on the opposite side to where Marnie Vinyl is downstairs. Marnie.
There's a very big difference in decibels every time Geelong get near goals to when Sydney get near goals, but you can feel the excitement every time Patrick Dangerfield gets his hands on the ball. The crowd are just absolutely loving it.
Thrown back into play. McInerney at the front of the pack. Inboard by hand to Papley. Now things open up for the Swans. Wasn't the best delivery going inside. McDonald, though, tapped it to his own advantage. Off to Amati, who strolls into an open goal. Good gather by the Swans. He's got 2. And the Swans close back to within 1 point of the Cats. 3-3-21 Geelong. 3-2-20 the Swans. We played 26 minutes in the opening quarter. Your expert, Cameron Ling, on ABC Sport.
I was just talking about the positive outnumber for the Cats in their forward line, which led to the Ollie Henry goal. Well, very clearly there, the Swans had it. Very comfortable goal. It comes from their forwards who, the moment they know that their midfielders are out, turn and head back towards goal, knowing that their defenders will press up, but also it comes from one midfielder really running hard. First to leave the contest, getting deep into that forward line so that the defender has to go to someone, and then you end up with a scenario like that, 3v1 and a certain Sydney goal.
I want to talk to you about Heaney as well, because at the moment he seems to be pretty well held. He might be able to get on the end of it here. No, it's Jordan in the end that drives the ball towards the top of the 50 for the Swans. They're attacking the bar and river end. Tom Atkins said, not on my watch though. The kick was partially smothered, fed to Sheldrick. Now here's Heaney, 60 and closing, just lobs it up towards top of the square, and the lob was too high for Warner. Kolodjasny marks, spreads it to the far side. Brian Myers, that low sliding delivery, bounces in front of Ollie Henry. Myers makes it good though. They work with Martin and it comes back. The Cats go into attack, forward side of the wing. Edwards went back, Dangerfield dispossessed. Now the Swans through Wicks. They'll go by hand. It's a looping one over the top. De Koning covers it off. Top possession getter for the Cats is Holmes. I think that might be number 10 for him. And he finds Henry. So Henry, Ollie Henry, and is there 50 applied there?
Not 100% sure what for. Brodie Grundy doesn't know. He's the one who was stuck on the mark.
So Henry will be marched all the way to 25 metres out from goal, directly in front. We'll try and have a look on the replay. Henry's not really sure. Brodie Grundy's certainly not sure. It didn't appear that people were in the zone.
No, anything like that, you always think protected zone either side or somebody's moved from the standing the mark, but I thought Brodie Grundy was stationary. We'll have to check the replay.
So genuine local product out of St Mary's. Here he comes, Ollie Henry, and he does not capitalise. Could have had 3. Instead, it's just a couple to Henry, just the minor one. So Cats lead it by 2 points. Dying Stages opening turn.
Quick kick in there by the Swans. Bice gets it to Blakey. Blakey wider still to Lloyd, who draws the opponent on the mark, then went the hand pass to Bice, who kept on running, off to Warner, broke one tackle, spilt the ball but regathered, off to Rowbottom, sold him into a bit of trouble. O'Connor, he went the fend, it gave him away, and it's holding the ball on centre wing. Cats have the free.
Did he actually go the fend, or do you think he just thought, someone's about to nail me and I just need to protect myself
Possibly,
a little bit?
Yeah.
There was no prior opportunity. Oh, bad turnover.
Oh, shocking turnover. Now a chance for Papley. He's 60 from goal. Kicks to Amadi. Top of the square, takes the mark. Oh, he had a couple of options. Burnt the short ones. Went probably the more difficult one beyond the 2 short. But Amadi has it. Slight angle to the right. And he should come in and kick his 3rd.
Scoring on turnover is the king at the moment in this game. Any mistake, any little fumble, any skill error is at risk of being punished severely at the other end of the ground. This will give them a lead. You'd think going into quarter time. Perfect timing.
Marty will kick from 20, 45-degree angle to the right, pokes at it, and he has 3. And the Swans have the lead at quarter time. 3-4-22 the Cats, 4-2-26 the Swans. They started hot and finished hot, and the margin at quarter time is 4 points. Running you through the goal kickers, 3 to Amadi and 1 to Cleary, who kicked an absolute ripper for the opening of the afternoon. Meanwhile, for the Cats, 2 to Henry and 1 to Cameron. At the MCG, it's Collingwood by 2 points over West Coast, almost halfway through the opening term there. We'll keep you updated all through the afternoon. You are listening to Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
New from ABC Books.
Go on a fascinating journey through the murky waters of history, memory, and the stories we tell ourselves. If You're Listening, Declassified by Matt Bevan. Book and audiobook available in bookshops and online.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nichols Round with ABC Sport.
Grundy with a chance to launch the Swans deep into attack. He goes to the right-hand forward pocket, and the mark is taken down there. I reckon that might be Cleary down there. It will be a tight angle. He comes in and he's gone. The banana, and it's pretty good. Swans are on the board early.
Received the tap here from the ruck contest. He's away too. Kicks inside 50. Oh, well done by Jack Henry. just got in between Melican and Mills there. He gives a hand pass quickly to Cameron, who snaps and goals. That's the way to get him in the game early.
On the outside, Dempsey, Mills, they collide. Dempsey goes back again. Good by hand to Henry. Good by Henry round the corner and a goal. So Henry of the Ollie variety has got himself two.
McInerney at the front of the pack. Inboard by hand to Papley. Now things open up for the Swans. Wasn't the best delivery going inside. McDonald, though, tapped it to his own advantage. Off to Amati, who strolls into an open goal. Good gather by the Swans. He's got two.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Welcome back to Kardinia Park. Quarter time here with the Swans leading by 4 points. Sydney 4-2-26 over Geelong 3-4-22. Andrew Mays, Ian Cohen and Cameron Ling with all the action for you this afternoon. Marnie Vinyl on the boundary. At the MCG, it's the Pies by 2. And earlier today, it was a goal after the siren for Cam Zurhaar to secure a 6-point victory over the Gold Coast Suns at the Docklands. So a big Super Saturday of football here on ABC Sport. Cameron Ling, what did you take out of that first quarter?
Well, we are watching two very, very good football teams. Two teams who are going to be serious contenders come the end of the year. And they're both able to capitalise on any little mistake. So it's a hot footy. Contested possessions are high, 40-32 Geelong's way in that quarter. Pressure's high, 22-12 Sydney's way. So it's a hot footy, but it's also just when you can't quite execute a kick or a handball and be super clean, the other team has the ability to just go bang. It flies the other way. I love the way they both play. Some of the matchups, Max Holmes, 11 disposals, 4 clearances, has been very good. Probably the best player on the ground so far. James Jordan isn't going to him. It's more Bailey Smith. He'll roll over to Holmes if Smith isn't there. So he's doing a decent job on Smith, Jordan, with 4 disposals. I thought coming into the game that Jordan would go to Holmes. I think Holmes is the best player at the Cats in that midfield group. So I'm surprised Holmes is allowed to have so much freedom. The other matchup of Isaac Heaney versus Oisin Mullen. Mullen's done okay. Heaney's only had the 6 disposals. However, he's had 4 clearances, and even that last one there, he's starting to get a bit more of his ball in the forward half of the ground. So some of his touches are becoming dangerous. So that's something for Oisin Mullen to just keep a little bit of a close eye on. Obviously, Joel Amarty's the one who's having the good times up forward. Charlie Curnow struggling to get into it, hasn't touched the footy yet. But Amarty plays almost as a tall, small forward. He gets out the back a little bit better. And when there's turnovers at the moment, like we're seeing being punished, it's Amarty who's getting out the back, goal side, able to pop through an easy one of his 3, whereas Charlie Curnow's a genuine key forward type player. So he's presenting, leading up, competing, long balls are coming into him. He can't get it, but he's still doing a lot with 0 disposals, which seems a little bit strange.
Tell us about the role of Papley too, because I know this year we've seen him, and I heard him talk about it, a lot further up the ground. Like he's getting the ball sort of wing half forward. Normally it would be, or in the previous iterations of the Swans, we've seen him deep inside 50, or the one getting out the back. Do you like the way they sort of changed his role this year?
Yeah, I like it because it's become one of the most crucial roles in modern football, is that connector, for want of a better term. It's the high half forward. So Geelong's version is Graham Myers and Sean Manor. So they can get up high, even be a release kick when the defender's under a bit of pressure and they need a little bailout on the logos, on the wings. It's one of them. But they can still get back inside forward 50 and hunt a ground ball or deliver that kick inside 50. So Papley's doing that role. Now the best ever to do that is Dustin Martin, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Not expecting anyone to do it to that standard. But that player who can drift between 30 out from their goal and probably just to the back of the centre square and just connect everything together between midfield and forward line, it's a crucial role. And if you've got a smart enough player to do it, which Tom Papley is, that then gets the Sydney Swans flow going so well.
Before the start of the second term, let's head downstairs, Marnie.
Just a one to watch. Patrick Dangerfield has just headed down to the room, so not sure what that is, but I'll try and find out.
Thanks, Marnie, as we are about to get underway here. It's the Swans by 4 points at quarter time as the ball goes up to start the second term. Coming through the stoppage, umpires picked out a free here. It's going for Holmes. Holmes kicks high and long inside, attacking 50. Out the back, no mark taken. Melican, soccering to his own advantage. Cameron bought himself a little bit of space. He's in the forward pocket, just needed to gather, couldn't quite. Lightning hands from Ollie Henry, only as far as Grundy though, who picks up, hand pass to Sheldrick. Quick kick up towards centre half back. Good mark by O'Connor. Wrestled his man McInerney out of the way and took it on his chest at true centre half forward.
So the Cats attacking the Barwon River end. O'Connor drives it deep, 20 metres out from goal. It's going to be punched away by Blakey. Out the back door, Edwards taken down to ground. Edwards from the Swans, that is.
Jack Martin tackle.
Good tackle right in the goal square. So Doug Nichols round. The Aboriginal flag is there, the Indigenous flag, as Brodie Grundy gets it towards the boundary side. They want to try and run it out. They can't at the moment. They thought about stepping out. Sarong was good. Now it's a ball just outside of the zone, and Curnow for his first stat. You've been keeping an eye on it, the King of Cardinia, Cameron Ling.
He's worked hard for that disposal, Coase.
He has. So Curnow, right half back, takes a mark, kicks it long. It might come back though. No, in the end it's okay because Rowbottom got it. They move it now towards the forward 50. Humphreys, it goes over the back of him. Hit hard by Hanley. Now Rowbottom again. Good work by Heaney. In the end, the tackle was good. Really, really good from Taconi. Pulled down Hanley, and it's a free kick to the Tall Cats defender.
One matchup we haven't spoken about yet. This could be a turnover. I'll let you guys take over.
Let it hang up for a bit. Bounce down to Curnow. Lovely centering ball. Finds McInerney. 40 out directly in front. Disaster for De Koning. And it comes straight back towards him. You'll see it sail over his head from McInerney.
Kids out there listening to us, if you've got a screen, that's the kick we talk about when don't be lazy when you're kicking the footy. That was just half a step from De Koning, almost leant back on it, showed way too much of the ball. That's why you always want a couple of steps towards your target, punch it in low and get it there quickly.
Behind in the opening term for McInerney. He can be a goal kicker on his day. Kicks from 45, directly in front. Strikes that beautifully. Never looked like missing. And the Swans have the opening goal of the second term. 3-4-22 Geelong. Sydney now 5-2-32. 10 points the margin. We've played a couple of minutes.
One of the other matchups we haven't yet highlighted, and it's remiss of me not to have done it so far. James Rowbottom's got the job on Tom Stewart. We spoke in the pre-game about how dominant Stewart was last week against the Brisbane Lions, intercepting everything. So Rowbottom's sacrificing his normal midfield time to do that job. Stewart's only had the 3 disposals, only 1 mark, and probably most importantly, only 25 metres gained. So just Geelong missing his intercept and rebounding ability. So Guthrie and O'Connor and those types of players, Lawson Humphreys, they're going to have to take the place of Stewart.
Interesting in the middle, Heaney's now gone to Bailey Smith. So Edwards, just grabbed it out of the ruck, hacked it long. Gee, that was imperious, and the mark's been taken by Jack Henry. He grabbed it basketball style, literally threw it down on the boot in one motion. It floated forward and Jack Henry got on the end of it, 25 out, 45-degree angle.
And Brodie Grundy tried to do the step out of the way thing. He's going to miss it. I'll get the free kick for over the line. But if you touch it, not just touch it, you take it with you. Great play.
So this is Henry trying to join his brother as a goal kicker. Comes in, Barwon River end. I think he might have pushed it across the face. He has. Disappointing result for Cats fans. It's the Swans by 9 points. 4 minutes gone, second term.
So kick in to be taken by Blakey, who trots into the back pocket, then kicks long beyond defensive 50. Edwards, first grab and the second, couldn't quite complete the mark. Taken down in a very strong tackle there by Grundy. No prior opportunity after he'd picked it up. We'll have a ball up in between wing and half forward for the Cats. Grundy's had enough, tried to whack it out of there, only as far as Blitzarves, who whacked it straight towards Manor. Kicks high ball inside 50. Henry getting there again. Couldn't quite grab it. Neil did the roving from the front of the pack, but it's over Hooked it over his head for a behind.
Had to give them. Had a couple of handball options.
Is that ambition and ability? Maybe just for the big man. Blakey scything ball down through the middle. It's marked by McInerney, one of the goal kickers in this second term. He goes across to Bice. Now it's Callum Mills. A high little ball and it's okay. So the Swans working it out of the back 50 and they've progressed all the way towards the middle of Cardinia Park on the far side. They continue towards Curnow. He can't mark. He's forced to play a defensive role. Punches it towards the boundary. Swans there in numbers. Sarong taken over. I think it might have been a throw, though, from one of the other Swans players. And so it's going to be a free kick to the Cats. 24, Geelong 32, the Swans. Second term action on ABC Sport. High kick again, 55 out. Good mark from Edwards, this time in the red and the white. Both of them tall and blonde, and Edwards for the Swans, a relieving mark, 55 out.
Edwards, very high kick, round beyond centre wing. Curnow fighting in a one-on-one, couldn't take the mark. Heaney handball over the top, missed his target. Humphries coming the other way. Worked the hand pass to Guthrie and then to Dempsey. Back to Guthrie, right up against the boundary line. Forced to snap around the corner. Blakey in there kills that contest out of bounds. Just forward of centre wing for the Cats. 3-6-24 Geelong. 5-2-32 Sydney. They kicked a couple of behinds the Cats. Sydney a goal in this second term so far. It's 6.5 minutes old. Ball to be tossed back into play as the lights just about fully taken over down here at Cardinia Park. Thrown back in, Grundy over the back of the pack. Holmes got through one tackle. Hand pass straight to Grundy though. Sarong received the hand pass. He gave it straight to O'Connor of the Cats. Coming the other way. O'Connor towards Cameron. Left half forward presenting. Takes the mark. 60 from goal. Can he roll and go? Will he look for the pass? He's going to look for the pass. It's a low ball. A beautiful ball to Manor, who plays on, snaps and misses. Might have been touched on the way through. Otherwise, you fancy Manor might have taken a little more time with that one. 3 goals, 7 now, the Cats, 25. Sydney 5-2-32, 7 played second term.
Yeah, Manor was in white-hot form against the Lions. Real purple patch, 5 goals. The kick-in comes to Edwards for the Swans. He goes laterally and dangerously, and it's chopped off by Jeremy Cameron. There's the left peg again into the left forward pocket, and Martin marks. That was a disappointing result. They had players open, and they just couldn't find one.
No, they couldn't find it. And don't the Cats love it when Jeremy Cameron's kicking the ball inside 50? He's so good, but they also want him marking the ball inside forward 50. He's just good at everything he does.
So Jack Martin gets around on the right boot. High lofted kick. But the umpire says no, it is behind the stick. So they're doing it by degrees at the moment.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to hold the momentum for long against a team as good as Sydney, and they're not capitalising.
26 playing 32.
Plenty of wasted opportunities here for the Cats. Kick from the Swans to the other side. Dempsey's able to intercept. Hand pass to Smith, running inside, attacking 50, escorted over the boundary line by Jordan, and a ball in will take place. 40 around from the Geelong goal.
So they've had 7 inside 50s this quarter, the Cats, to 2 to the Sydney Swans. However, the Swans have kicked the goal, and the Cats have only got the 4 behinds to show for it.
Yeah, 4 scoring shots for 7 inside 50, so every time it goes in, they are looking dangerous. Mullen tried to shrug one tackle. He did. Oh, he's a bit unlucky there, I reckon. Umpire said holding the ball. Thought he'd broken through those tackles, but maybe they'd let go. Sarong with the free kick goes to Edwards. Outside his defensive goal square. A little wider still to McCartan. Long looping hand pass to Bice. Further around the boundary line to Lloyd. He's forced to kick very high and quickly. Row bottom over the top of Stewart. One grab and almost the second, not the third. Stewart at ground level. Got his hands free to get it to Smith. Now back towards Cameron. That should have been a throw. It was a strange-looking hand pass over his head to O'Connor. Now to Kolajasny, who sold some lovely candy. Then kicks to right half forward. Swans with the numbers here, and McCartan expertly nudges a couple of opponents underneath it. Takes the intercept mark.
Yes, but his kick is subsequently intercepted by Humphries as well. Humphries, long, bouncing ball. Bowen, river end, it's a goal! So Humphries who was part of the jumper design for the Indigenous round, along with Misa and Lawson Humphreys. They were the ones that designed the jumper, and that jumper is looking good at the moment on Humphreys. So we're back to level pegging for the second time today. Scores are level at Kardinia Park, 4-8-32 to 5-2-32 with 10 minutes gone, second term.
Yeah, it must be pretty special to kick a nice goal like that on the run in front of your home crowd in a jumper that you and your sister have designed. Designed last year's jumper as well for Sir Doug Nichols' round, and he was very, very happy. He turned to the Moorabool Street side of the ground and celebrated with the crowd. He has been terrific so far in this game. I mentioned before Tom Stewart being reasonably well held by Rowbottom. Well, Humphreys is the one picking up the slack.
Grundy down to Warner, who's immediately wrapped up by Dangerfield, going nowhere. Ball to be tossed up, still inside the centre circles. A couple of half forwards push up to this one. De Koning reaching over the top, only as far as Jordan though. Hand pass over the top to McInerney. His hand pass picked off by Dempsey, who releases Manor immediately. Short chip over the top is excellent. To Cameron, gets to 40. You know the rest. A couple in a row for the Cats, and they have the lead again by a goal. Cameron kicks his second. 5-8-38 Geelong. Sydney 5-2-32, but it is one team doing all the attacking, Cameron Ling, in this second quarter.
It certainly is, and Ollie Dempsey, he plays that wing role well. He's had 8 disposals so far in this game, but he just held his width, didn't get sucked into where the ball was. Sydney tried to get it over the top of him. He picked it off with a nice little steal from his basketball background, and from there, quick hands to Manor, and you don't want to leave Jeremy Cameron in that much space inside forward 50. He was never going to miss. Cameron so far this quarter has had 5 disposals, 132 metres gained, and now a goal to his name.
This time it is Dangerfield that sharks it, gives to De Koning. De Koning, high ball, right-hand side of the 50 arc. I think there might be an infringement. Brian Myers had a bit too much of his defender, and so it will be the Swans that have got the ball just outside the paint of 50. Bice.
Clearances goes 7-1 Geelong's way. So that's a big one for Dean Cox and his coaching group to look at. I think, how do we need to fix that up, get it back even?
They've only got one James Jordan out there. Grundy got up. I reckon that was a bit early, and it was in the back as well. And that's a fair bit for Sam De Koning to be dealing with. I would have thought about 110 kilos of Brodie Grundy arriving on the numbers of the back. And so it's a short one for De Koning.
Probably had 110 kilos of his brother growing up, so he's used to it.
O'Sullivan goes to Guthrie. So Guthrie right in front of the Swans interchange bench. It is a lead by a couple now for the Cats, and a ball comes out the back. Close, right forward pocket, pins the ears back, sets sail for home. 3 in a row for the Cats. And the headbands in hoops are starting to get a little busy. So that's a good goal, and Close is so good in terms of being able to deliver. So 6-8-44 to the Swans, who are marooned at the moment on 5-2-32, second term midway.
Yeah, Brad Close, we were mentioning before about that Tom Papley role. I mentioned Manor and Myers as those connecting half forwards. Probably should have mentioned his name as well. He's one of the hard-working players in that forward line who can get up the ground, but also works incredibly hard to get back at ground level. And on that occasion, just showing his brilliance. Can't remember many other 45s kicking a goal from the boundary like that one. No. I needed a little bit more straight in front.
Back in the middle. De Koning rises high. Amati tries to grab it. De Koning grabs him, and we'll have a ball up still inside the centre circle.
I would have just given it off to Gaz and let him kick it from there.
You were too busy scragging someone to be doing that.
De Koning whacks it out of ruck that time. Cleared a little bit of space. Now Smith hand passes over his head in Geelong's direction. running close attendance here. Edwards turned back into traffic, just got the hand pass away. Cleary back into traffic. How good was Atkins? Broke through, did everything, and then spilt the footy at the last moment, holding the ball. Bice comes away with it. Good kick up to Curnow, who's presenting towards the wing. Curnow looking midfield. Lovely kick into the centre square. What can they produce here? Sarong has it. Looks inside 50. It's a long ball over the head of Papley. Row bottom. No, not quite. Just dropped it at the last moment. Stewart was in there. Gave it to Guthrie, who's lucky to get away with holding the ball. Back into congestion. Humphreys there. He burrows in. Sarong over the top. Warner wrapping him up as well. We'll have a ball up, 45 out on a 45-degree angle for the Swans, who are enjoying a rare foray forward in this second term.
So DeConing punches it forward. Ricochets back to O'Connor. He is wrapped up and thrown to the ground by Papley right on the 50-metre arc. It's the Cats by 2 goals. Ball elevated quickly again. DeConing got it down to Dempsey. Dempsey, little toe poke was good to Dangerfield. Holmes swept past. Have a look at this chain of handball finishes with Martin. They'll work it all the way through the middle. Close, there's that 45 again, Lingy. They get it across the top to Henry. He stumbled at the last moment. Jack Henry allowed the Swans in. Pressure momentarily released. Bice, handball over the top. He gets it back. It's a bit of a tap-and-go transaction from him. All the way through to centre wing it comes. Now they've got to stand and deliver. They can't quite get there. Sarong just says, I'm going to kick it out of here. Warner can't mark. Goes down to Curnow. He's taken down to ground. O'Connor. Humphreys weaves, turns, buys some time, feeds it back by hand to Blitzarves, who keeps it down the red. Hickey stands side. The presentation was really good from Neil. Now Holmes, the speedster, green and gold blood running through those veins. He makes the most of it, puts it out in front. O'Sheen Mullen taken down to ground. Wonderful tackle by the Swans defence. He can't quite get it away, and Mullen is denied an opportunity right forward pocket.
Oh,
how was that, Lee?
High speed footy. High pressure footy.
Well, watching tennis from the stoppage. Atkins bends around and bends around enough. It came back off the left at the last moment. And that is a precious stoppage goal inside attacking 50 for the Cats. They have 4 in this second term, really piling on the pressure. Geelong 7-8-50. Sydney 5-2-32. They are making their move, the Cats.
They certainly are, and because of that high-speed footy that we're talking about, it was up and back and up and back and pressure and that, I reckon a group of Sydney players got to that stoppage and just thought, just need a break for just a second. Let me catch my breath. But by then, the ball had already been thrown up. Atkins was on the move and just had enough time and space to throw that one on the left foot and kick a terrific goal.
Marnie downstairs.
Swans have just put up a sign on the bench of a big droplet of blood. So you think that means probably play Bloods footy?
Maybe. Yes.
Sure.
Give blood, that's always
That's, yep. Important message to sell.
community-minded Sydney Footy Club from the restart. The ball was taken away by Sheldrick. He couldn't make clean contact, though, so it's still in the double donuts. Oh, Dangerfield. That was one on the outside of the left boot. Falls okay to Myers, though. Go to Atkins. Boy, was he set down on his backside by Heaney. Heaney now with the advantage. Swans in the attack. That was a tackle and a half. I think he's still going to be feeling it. Comes back in towards Sheldrick. Gee, it's untidy stuff at the moment. That is that inferred pressure. Guthrie just sends it straight down the middle. Cameron can't mark, got the ball to advantage. DeConing had to find it at ground level. Close has been busy in this second term. Got it away. Henry, Oliver, across. Dempsey couldn't get on the end of it. Good defensive punch was excellent from Sarong. Now Roses tries to arrive and will feed it out of play. And I think that won't be a lasso. It will be a boundary throw in front of the big scoreboard. Barwon River End, 55 out.
Andrew Mazen, Cohen and Cameron Ling for you upstairs. Marnie Vinyl has it covered for us downstairs on the boundary this afternoon at the MCG. It's West Coast by 2 at quarter time over the Pies. Toss back into play. Blitzarves did the rucking and the roving. Hand pass and a quick kick inside. Attacking 50. Ends up with Ollie Henry, who went the fend. Did he get the hand pass away? Umpire said yes. It spilt through the last moment to Dangerfield, to Myers, to Dempsey. Quick as a flash. To the line. It's marked. Well done by Mills, who was goalkeeping, and his kick out of there is good too. Lands with Hanley. Gets it on board quickly. Rowbottom had a bit of work to do. His hand pass to Wicks wasn't ideal. Wicks off the side of the boot into the middle. It might work out here. Umpires picked out a free kick. It's going the way of the Cats. Advantage paid anyway. Now a chance for Humphreys, who cuts his way through the middle. Long kick. Ollie Henry was up high over the top of a couple of Swans' opponents. Now slung to the ground is Edwards. He's going no. It'll be held up. 30 out directly in front for the Cats. They lead by 18 before Ian Cole. Let's head downstairs. Marnie.
Malcolm Rosas Jr. is really struggling on his foot. The physio has run out to him, but he is struggling to put any weight on it.
He certainly is. He's in back play at the moment, Marnie. Good pick-up as the ball is kicked towards centre wing, but it's going to come back. Swans free kick 30 metres out from their defensive goal. Cameron.
Yeah, holding the ball. It was just Tom Atkins trying to fight the tackle, and for a moment he probably thought he was through and was going to give the handball, but great strong tackle by the Sydney Swans opponent. Just everybody can take a little breather now. I know we're up here doing not much, but even I'm exhausted right now. This ball is flying around.
Another one of the local boys in the lineup is McCartan. Gives it to Riley Bice. Shares with Sarong. Sarong's turn to try and kick it towards the attack of Curnow, and that was really good from the former Blue. He feeds it by hand. Swans are into attack. Amadi's the last man standing down there, and they missed him by a mile. They kicked it to Colajazny's side. Amadi couldn't get to the ball, and the pressure relieved momentarily. The Cats will bring it to the broadcast side, and there he's like those eggs you buy at the supermarket. He is free range, Jeremy Cameron, and he is down there in the back 50.
And he just roams wherever he wants. Speaking of roaming, here is Max Holmes, who has been everywhere this afternoon. Kick up towards the wing. Neil reached high. Dangerfield on the way down, couldn't grab it. Jack Henry becomes the tackler. Now Lloyd for the Swans. Receives the hand pass. Loops over the top to the corner. That was a hospital hand pass if you've ever seen one.
And it was Dangerfield charging.
He knew he was coming too. He had one eye on the footy and one eye on Dangerfield and was pretty happy.
He was happy to just
scored it over the line.
Just step it over the line for a boundary throw in, I think.
The train at South Marshall's got less impact than that would have had. Marnie on the boundary.
Rosas does not want to come off. He's waved the physio off multiple times, but she went back out to try and get him to come off.
We'll keep an eye on that for us as well. An important player. He kicked 7 against the Demons. This time it's the Irishman in O'Connor. He goes across. There's free range out there again. Jeremy Cameron, left peg by him. Sends it Hickey stand side. Gee, I reckon Edwards did really well for the Swans. Got himself in front position. Didn't take the mark, but did enough to cause the penalty.
So Jeremy Cameron is calling him free range. He's just rolled behind the ball. I reckon because the coaches have sensed we've had a good quarter, but the pace has been so high that there's a bit of exhaustion out there. So maybe we just settle a little bit, hold on to this lead for a bit, get everyone's breath back, get our rotations onto the bench that we need to get, and then get the game back on our terms.
And while you've been talking, he's had 2 possessions. He's taken a mark, given it to Dempsey. Now he kicks long, and it's suddenly in the Cats forward 50 again. Swans managing to repel. This has set McInerney a task. He's not up to it. Oh, Humphreys evaded a couple. He set sail long for goal, but in the end, Sarong just outmarks Dangerfield. Well done to young Sarong. Dangerfield was trying to push him under the ball in the back pocket, and Sarong did really well. So it's 50 playing 32. The local team in front. Swans in arrears. Brodie Grundy the marking target. Whistle on play, and it's going to be a free kick coming back to O'Sullivan. Connor O'Sullivan, one of the Rising Star nominations, holding the man, Cameron.
Yeah, just tried to hold him out of but getting a run at the marking contest.
He goes right forward pocket. Dangerfield, territory danger marks. He's just too big, too strong, too good. Patrick Dangerfield, game 367. Don't worry about the guy up the road. Danger's pretty good to watch too.
Left foot snap from here.
Talk us through it, Cameron Ling. Does he kick it?
Yes.
We're about to find out.
I mean, no.
Okay, a late change of mind from Cameron Ling, and he's quite correct. He misses it towards the near side. Cats now by 19 as we approach half-time.
So ball will be delivered back in by Bice, who runs onto that left foot. Long driving ball. McDonald was up. Oh, in front. Strong as an ox. Tom Stewart takes a wonderful contested mark. all that pressure, bigger bodies from behind, and he stood tall. Drives Geelong back inside attacking 50. Both Henrys jump, both missed it. Dempsey over the back, sockers it and misses to the right-hand side for one behind. It has been a dominant quarter here from the Cats. 7-10-52, leading the Swans 5-2-32. Could have been more, 24 minutes gone.
Yep, game high, and the Swans really just need to arrest this fast-moving Cats outfit at the moment. They can't seem to get it out of the Cats forward line. And again, the kick-in is going to result in a 0-0 contest just near the point of the square. Broadcast side, Cats in attack still.
You mentioned contest. That's been the difference. Plus 15 this quarter for Geelong. So they're just hard at the footy, controlling territory on the back of it.
And they continue to do it. Manor wrapped up in the Lloyd tackle. 20 points the margin. 25 minutes gone, second term.
19-4 inside 50s.
Well, the pressure is immense, and that means you kick it out of bounds on the full. Doesn't matter if you're as good as Isaac Heaney. He tried to toe poke it off the ground, and in the end, the Cats have just ramped it up, Andrew Mays.
4 inside 50s for the quarterly. That's extraordinary.
It's the best team in the comp.
Yeah, and the way that they've been scoring. O'Sullivan, long kick. Straight to Manor came the crumb. He kicks to the top of the square. It's a 2-on-1. Sydney had the numbers. Drifting in from the side. Mills takes the intercept mark. So just a time to steady things down for the Swans. They'll be reaching for half-time here. High kick out wide, and they're not reaching anymore because Guthrie intercepted. Hand pass to Manor. Manor's in hot form. Takes on the responsibility and kicks the goal. This has been a domination in the second term by Geelong at their very best. Manor has his first of the afternoon. Geelong now have 8, and the margin is out to 26 points before half-time.
It has been some sort of quarter, hasn't it? 11 shots at goal. I just spoke about the contested possession dominance. The inside 50s now 21-4. The clearances 10-6. They're in total control of this game. And the Sydney Swans now, you can see the players coming back to the middle. Brodie Grundy trying to talk to Warner and Heaney and McInerney, those types of players. Hey, what have we got to fix up here? What's happening? So they need to work it out there. Dean Cox will be using the runner, trying to get some messages, give them ideas. But it's over to them to fix it up now, especially through the middle of the ground. They need to take some pressure off their defenders because the Swans' defenders are just under the pump right now.
So 6-6-6 warning, handed out, and now Grundy and Edwards engage. Heaney, bobbling ball, couldn't take it. Holmes on the end of a handball, it's looking good. Goes to Martin. Martin, little low scything one, not marked down there, and it's going to go out of bounds. Neil was saying he was infringed by McCartan, nothing doing. So adjacent to the point post on the broadcast side, Bowen River End. They lead by 26, and they are in ominous form at the moment, the Cats. Ball to come back into play. Neil engages with Grundy again. Blakey was trying to run through, but Neil's infringed. Brodie Grundy with a bit of ruck craft, just made sure the umpire was very aware that his passage to the ball was impeded. So Brodie Grundy back into all-Australian form, but really needs to lift with his team. Off to Wicks. Wicks forced onto his left boot. Curnow worked O'Sullivan under that beautifully and took a very relieving mark for the Sydney Swans. Muscled his opponent underneath it. So getting a little bit more of it in this second term, Curnow. High ball over centre wing. Who are the Flyers? Big fist came from De Koning. Only as far as Lloyd, though. Gets onto his left. Kicks inside 50. Stewart had that covered easily. Saw Rowbottom coming for him and was able to manoeuvre him out of the way. Kicks on the bounce to Cameron, who probably didn't need that much pressure. And then Jeremy Cameron puts it out of bounds on the full. Had Dempsey, who was standing basically on the boundary line 20 metres away, but kicked it over his head. Heaney's on. Kolodjasny just handed over then from Mullen. That was really clever because Heaney was about to make a move and had great position on Mullen. McCartan with the free. Kicks inside 50. De Koning going back with the fist. Worked the 1-2. Overran it in the end, in fact. Grundy sliding in. He couldn't get the hand pass away. Now a chance for Martin. Bouncing ball. Shrugged the tackle. Holmes just handballs 25 metres blindly forward. Running onto it is Bailey Smith. He grabs the footy straight through the middle of Canidia Park. Lovely kick towards Manor. Out in front of him. Hand pass. It's going to be a lasso free kick. He was trying to regather. Ran out of space. Swans ball left half back. Last roll of the dice here for the Swans before half time. They keep it right down the boundary. And in the end, I would have thought Brian Myers shouldn't have actually gone to try and mark that because it was basically out of bounds on the full. But he put his hand on it, unsuccessful mark, and it's now going to be a boundary throw-in in front of the benches.
Yeah, I reckon he was scrambling. He perhaps thought Warner was going to mark it, but I think you're right, Cozy. If he slowed down a little bit, maybe realised he was about to get a free kick.
Could have let it go out, as we're seeing some of the players do. McInerney, well, in the end, he spilt it to Smith, and Smith gave it to Manor, who was then tackled a little bit too high. And so Jordan is the man on the mark. So Manor, with that banana goal earlier this quarter. Now he steps inside. They'll be looking for a marking target inside the forward 50. Neil will come from behind. Can't quite take it. McCartan was very good.
He's become a good player, hasn't he?
Great player. Big lateral ball from him. Goes far side of the ground. Swans are just wanting a bit of possession football now, and 50 is applied.
Yeah, so they determined there that a player was within the 5 metre protected zone and someone had to stand and stop. I think the players thought they were outside and could stay outside.
So a little late gift here for the Swans. Can they capitalise and make the most? And there's Isaac Heaney. Takes a mark 30 metres out directly in front.
Great movement by Heaney. Staying involved. He's found it tough so far this game, but got deep, and then when the kick came in, just cutting in from the side. And nothing annoys coaches more than a late goal when you've completely controlled a quarter.
We saw Amadi kick one after the goal for the Swans in the last quarter. Now Heaney's got a chance to just restore some balance and at least give the Swans a bit of momentum going into half-time. 58 the Cats, 32 the Swans. Siren has sounded. He's kicking towards the city end, Selwood stand end. It's a low ball. It is a good ball. So Swans come in, high fives around. Isaac Heaney gets himself on the scoreboard. And at half-time, 8-10, 58 to 6-2, 38. That is the way the scoreboard stacks up after 30 and a half minutes of the second term.
What a much-needed goal that was from Isaac Heaney. Ironically, they kicked the first and the last goal of that second term, the Swans. The problem was Geelong kicked 5 in the middle, and it could have been plenty more as well. 8-10, 58 Geelong, 6-2, 38 the Cats, 20-point margin. That quarter running 30 minutes and 35 seconds. Goal kickers, 3 to Amadi, 1 to Heaney, 1 to McInerney, and 1 to Cleary for the Swans. Meanwhile, for the Cats, 2 to Cameron, 2 to Ollie Henry, and 1 each to Manor, Humphreys, Atkins, and Close. So it was a fascinating quarter with Geelong absolutely piling on the pressure. And Sydney, luckily for them, quite efficient when they went forward, which was pretty rare in that second term. So 5 goals to 2 in that second quarter. Margin at quarter time was 4 in favour of the Swans. At half time, it is now 20 in favour of the Cats. Cameron Ling run us through the Cats' attack and that Cats swarm in that second term.
It was impressive, wasn't it, Maisie? It was brilliant football. The only thing they probably didn't do was capitalise totally. 11 shots at goal, 5 goals, 6. The game could almost be over if they'd just kicked a little bit straighter. The inside 50 count was crazy, 23 to the Cats, only 7 to the Sydney Swans, but they found a way to kick those 2 goals, and an important late goal there by Isaac Heaney. Jeremy Cameron led possession getters for the Cats with 10 disposals. Now, I reckon at the halfway mark of the quarter, he probably had 5, maybe 6, and that was all forward half. Then his last 5 were deep in defence when he rolled behind the ball a little bit to try and just take a bit of the pace off, because it had been a frantic 7 or 8 minutes right across the ground. In between that first goal the Swans kicked and the last goal they kicked, right across the ground, the Cats felt like they were everywhere. Ground ball gets, which is often an indicator that coaches use to see how their midfield in particular, but their high half forwards, high half backs, are hunting around the ground, how well they're doing it, how well they're covering the ground. 35 to 19 Geelong's way. So that's where, just for anyone listening, it's the ball gets punched down onto the ground, or it's from a ball up and it's tapped, and it's that ball that just bobbles out into a little bit of space. Who cleans that ball up? Who works hard, maybe 2 metres to 7 metres away from the initial contest, to go and clean up that next ground ball? it's a really good indicator of how well you're outnumbering as a team. Your work rate from the initial congestion, and the Cats were just so dominant in that area, and that's why they had the quarter they did.
What do you do from Sydney's point of view when you can't control the midfield either? Because as you mentioned, through that, they were being smashed in centre clearances and also around the ground.
Yeah, I think... So it's part structure, yes. They'll be able to tinker with a couple of things. Manners' influence coming up from half forward was massive. Dempsey's influence from the wing is big. So they can tinker with that a little bit. But this sounds almost too simplistic. But I think Dean Cox and his group will put it on their A-plus grade midfielders and say, hey, come on, let's be serious. We got destroyed in that quarter. Your teammates, and we need better from you guys. Their leading disposal getters in that quarter, the Sydney Swans, was Bice, Sarong and Mills. All defenders.
Yep.
So they were under the pump. They were finding the footy only because the ball was living there. So I'm talking about, obviously, Isaac Heaney, the man who kicked that last goal then. McInerney, who only had 4 touches in that quarter. Chad Warner had 1 disposal for that quarter. So, yes, structurally we're going to fix things up a little bit and maybe give you a bit more of a chance. But come on, Chad. Come on, Isaac. Come on, Justin. We need more from you at the coalface. We cannot be smacked in ground ball gets, contested possessions, clearances like we were that quarter.
One last one before we go to the news. I just want to get your take on the ruck battle as well, because I think we've probably seen more of Blitzarves in the ruck than we thought we might this afternoon, and obviously De Koning's had a run through there as well as Edwards, so Grundy's got a few matchups against him.
Yeah, and I think just the way I'm seeing it, they want Edwards in the centre bounces for his jump and his athleticism.
Yep.
But they don't want to then exhaust him by having to wrestle around the ground stoppages with Grundy and then also run, because Grundy's just a running machine. So almost they're rolling Blitzarves or De Koning onto him then, or into the ruck, to just leave a little bit of petrol in Edwards' tank for later in the game, so that Edwards still has that ability to launch up high and over the top at the centre bounce ruck work. And Geelong's centre bounce clearance work and their centre bounce efficiency is outstanding this season and again tonight.
Well, in the opening quarter, it was goal for goal, but really in that quarter, we saw Geelong's absolute dominance shine through. 8-10-58 half-time here at Cardinia Park. 6-2-38 the Swans. A 20-point margin in favour of the Cats. We'll update you on all the other scores throughout today, with Super Saturday happening as well after the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. A new opinion poll suggests that One Nation could pick up dozens of seats in federal parliament. The poll of more than 6,000 voters by Redbridge and Accent Research shows that if an election was held today, Pauline Hanson's party could win up to 59 lower house seats. It currently holds 2. Political scientist Sean Ratcliffe, who helped produce the polling, says it would mean there'd be a two-party system. There wouldn't be a two-party system.
We see the Labor Party probably winning a majority, but only just, but with a real significant chance of a minority Labor government, and One Nation being the second largest party in Parliament and the official opposition.
Victoria's Premier and Opposition Leader have addressed party faithful at their respective state conferences this morning, making major promises ahead of November's election. Costa Haratos has the details.
Premier Jacinta Allen has pledged to launch a publicly owned apprenticeship academy at a cost of $50 million, which she says will support 2,000 placements over 4 years.
It's the job of Labor governments to change the system for the better.
Meanwhile, Liberal leader Jess Wilson has vowed to ensure a quarter of all infrastructure funding will go to the regions if elected in November.
But my team and I are up for the fight.
Members from both parties will debate policy platforms at their separate events running this weekend. Victorian voters will head to the polls in 6 months.
Chinese state media says the death toll from a gas explosion at a coal mine in Shanxi province in northern China has leapt to 90. The explosion occurred late yesterday while nearly 250 workers were on duty underground. Earlier reports said it had killed 8 people and left 38 trapped underground. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called on authorities to spare no effort in treating the injured and conducting search and rescue operations, while ordering a thorough investigation into the cause of the accident and strict accountability in accordance with the law. Counter-terrorism authorities have charged a Queensland man with extremism offences after a month-long investigation into online activity. Joshua McIntosh reports.
48-year-old Alexander Kent Wadsworth was charged by Queensland's Joint Counter-Terrorism Team after a property in Bowenville, southwest of Dalby, was searched yesterday. Investigators allege Mr Wadsworth uploaded several concerning posts to an encrypted social media site in which he encouraged others to carry out acts of politically motivated violence in Australia and overseas. He's been charged with one count of using a carriage service to menace, harass or cause offence, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment. In a joint statement between Queensland Police, Australian Federal Police and ASIO, the agencies said investigations started earlier this month and are ongoing.
Residents have described rushing to the scene of a crash in Sydney South where 3 people died. Police say they'd been responding to a concern for welfare at a home in Gymea Bay overnight when a man drove from the scene. Officers say that same car later collided with another vehicle at Sans Souci, killing 2 male drivers and a male passenger. This woman, who lives nearby, says about 30 people ran out to help when they heard the crash.
I saw a car on its roof when I came out. Just saw the car on its roof and thought, what? And just ran to the car. And the guy was, not in a good state. And the car was starting to catch fire. So it was our main priority was put the fire out, I guess.
In a major shake-up of US immigration policy, the Trump administration has announced that most foreigners seeking permanent residency will have to leave the country and apply at an overseas embassy. The BBC's Thomas Becker has more.
The US Immigration Agency says green cards to people already in the country would only be issued in extraordinary circumstances, without going into further detail what this means. It said the new policy reduced the need to find and deport those who'd been denied residency. Immigration lawyers and aid groups say the change is likely to lead to permanent family separations and survivors of trafficking and violence being forced to return to the dangerous countries they fled.
And SpaceX has completed what's described as a largely successful test flight of its next-generation Starship rocket, deploying mock satellites and executing a controlled splashdown in the Indian Ocean. The debut of its newly upgraded vehicle comes ahead of SpaceX's initial public offering next month, expected to be the largest in history. The latest uncrewed launch of Starship, designed to send future crews to the moon and later to Mars, achieved a key milestone for the vehicle.
Bet you didn't know we're the world's biggest gamblers.
Totally crippled my life.
Bingo!
I'm finding out why and if we really are the lucky country. Join me, Sean McAuliffe, Going for Broke.
Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Let it hang up for a bit. Bounce down to Curnow. Lovely centering ball finds McInerney. 40 out directly in front. Behind in the opening term for McInerney. Can be a goal kicker on his day. Kicks from 45 directly in front. Strikes that beautifully. Never looked like missing. And the Swans have the opening goal of the second term.
His kick is subsequently intercepted by Humphries as well. Humphries, long, bouncing ball, Bowen, River End, it's a goal!
Pass over the top to McInerney. His hand pass picked off by Dempsey, who releases Manor immediately. Short chip over the top is excellent. To Cameron, gets to 40. You know the rest.
The ball comes out the back. Close, right forward pocket. Pins ears back, sets sail for home. 3 in a row for the Cats. And the headbands in hoops are starting to get a little busy.
How was that linked?
High speed footy. High pressure footy.
By watching tennis from the stoppage. Atkins bends around enough. Guthrie intercepted, hand pass to Manor. Manor's in hot form, takes on the responsibility and kicks the goal. This has been a domination in the second term by Geelong at their very best.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Welcome back to Kardinia Park. Andrew Mays, Ian Cohen and Cameron Ling with you this afternoon. Marnie Vinyl with all the news on the boundary for us as well. It has been a Cats domination in the second term there, turning a 4-point deficit at quarter time into a 20-point lead at half-time. 8-10-58, leading Sydney 6-38. Around the grounds, a couple of the other scores at the MCG at the moment. Collingwood have just kicked another goal, so they go to 6-9-45, leading West Coast, who are 5-5-35, so 10 points in that one at the moment. That's got a couple of minutes still to run in the second term here before they hit halftime. Later to come tonight at the Adelaide Oval is Port Adelaide taking on Carlton. Earlier today, though, it was an incredible comeback by the North Melbourne Football Club. Down by 38 points at halftime. Let's take you to the final minute.
They're inside 50, the Suns. McKercher works hard, wins the hard ball. Wardlaw through the middle. They're on here. They go long, the Kangaroos. One-on-one. Surely a free kick. Yes, it is. They play on. They've been awarded the free kick. Have they allowed them to play on? No, the umpire said we're coming back. And it's in the hands, 30 metres out in front of goal, of Cam Zurhaar. Cam Zurhaar has a deep breath. The siren goes. Any score wins it for the Kangaroos. Cam Zurhaar, forward, turn back, turn forward. And the Bull wins it for the Roos. A Saturday afternoon thriller. 43 points they were down, and they win it after the siren. What a moment, the North Melbourne Kangaroos, their best win under Alistair Clarkson.
That was some comeback. As mentioned, 43 points down. Didn't look like it at halftime. They were trailing 12 goals to 3, the 6 goals to 1. 6 goals won, rather. So that is such a win under Alistair Clarkson. Let's have a listen to Cameron Zurhaar, the man of the moment, who caught up with ABC Sport post-match.
Oh, geez, it's up there. There was a game maybe about 5 or 6 years ago against Richmond that was pretty good as well. But, yeah, it'd be in the top 5 for sure.
What did you think when you got pulled down in those last moments? Because there was a bit of chaos that a couple of the boys played on. We couldn't tell whether the umpire paid advantage or not. Were you telling them, no, no, no?
To be honest, I didn't know I got a free kick. If I didn't get a free kick, I was in shock because he grabbed me around the waist and pulled me down. But, yeah, I didn't really know what was going on. The crowd was unbelievable. And, yeah, it's credit to the North Melbourne faithful sticking with us. They're such a good supporter base, and yeah, they really brought the noise today, but yeah, I couldn't really hear the umpire at the end.
What a win it was for North Melbourne. So a confidence booster, as it looked like, geez, their season might be slipping a little. That will propel a lot of confidence amongst that group. Cameron Ling, we've watched it a couple of times. It did look like, and there'll be plenty of discussion as to whether that should have been advantage paid, both North Melbourne players. I think it was Larkey and
Paul
the other.
Curtis,
Curtis.
Yeah,
came in.
Do you know what? It's been creeping in, and I need to actually clarify with the AFL officially. It's still under the ruling of if a player chooses to take advantage, then it's advantage.
Correct.
Now, you can have a little bit of grey when maybe there's massive noise, loud, and you're not sure. But I reckon they knew that was a free kick. They both chose, we're going to take advantage here and get it through. And it should have been called advantage. I reckon there's been a few examples, and now it's potentially determined a game of footy. So lots to discuss there. I reckon those shows in the early part of the week are going to have a field day with that one.
Yeah, the ABC AFL Daily will be all over it during the week. Just quietly, Gold Coast next 4 games. Brisbane, Geelong, Hawthorn and Fremantle.
Ooh.
So that's not a good one for them to drop where they looked home for all money at half-time.
No, when you have a lead like that and in control and with a run like that, you want to make sure you win those. That could basically determine their whole season.
Yeah.
That run of 4 games.
Yep. It's a big 4 weeks for them coming up. What did Damien Hardwick used to call it? Big Boy Month. This is their version of Big Boy Month. In the next 4 weeks, we'll find out a lot about the Gold Coast Suns. But North Melbourne, an incredible comeback this afternoon. Still a 10-point margin in favour of Collingwood at the MCG. Minute before half-time. We'll keep you across that. But here at Cardinia Park, Andrew Mays, Ian Cohen and Cameron Ling closing in for the second half here. 8-10-58 the Cats. The Swans 6-38. What are you expecting to see from the Swans in the opening couple of minutes here, Lingy?
Yeah, much different midfield endeavour, setup, makeup, just... Structurally, things, there'll be a couple of subtle little things. I wonder if, I know Bailey Smith's probably being locked away pretty well, had 8 disposals, but Max Holmes' influence is just enormous. Do you roll James Jordan to Holmes and think the temptation is, well, it hasn't been working. Holmes has been dominating. We got smashed in that quarter, therefore it should be Holmes. The risk is, they're already on top of the Cats, and then if you unleash Bailey Smith, things could get even nastier. But I said before the game I thought it would be Jordan to Holmes because I rate Holmes as the number one there, and he's done exactly that, 18 disposals. But you got to win the contest. It's quite simply, you cannot put your defenders under that much pressure, and the Swans midfielders did. They just lost contest after contest. Geelong hunted better than them. They got to get their hands on the footy. Isaac Heaney is starting forward.
Yep.
There's a little shift. So Rowbottom is now off Stewart, and he's come into the middle, and maybe he's going to be the one who goes to Holmes. Yep. Yeah, so that might be the shift. Bailey Smith is in this centre bounce without Jordan anywhere near him.
No, Jordan's not in there at all.
No, a couple of little things to watch. We'll see if that's just for the centre bounce and then things change.
Both teams have gone about a minute early here. They've been standing in their positions, walking around, bumping into each other, firing up for this second half for a couple of moments now. So it's been 60 seconds of a light show here at Cardinia Park, and finally we're underway in the third term.
De Koning up against Grundy. De Koning tries to shark it at ground level. There's a free kick coming back to Ollie Dempsey, though. Was being held by McInerney. So Dempsey from just behind the double donuts. It's a tumbling punt inside forward 50, and the mark in the end from McCartan was fairly easy. Jeremy Cameron couldn't elevate it all, and McCartan took it standing on the ground. So there was hardly a pack for that one. He's still inside the defensive arc. Goes far side of the ground. They'll be looking to try and... Oh, Ollie Dempsey, it went straight through. It was like a cricket catch that was dropped. De Koning, though, mopped it up. Now Bailey Smith arrives. He's getting tackled by the Swans. And I think it might have been Rowbottom and Warner in there.
Only cricket catches get dropped like that in our 6th Division side, though. So
I've been watching, doing the research on your 6th Division side. It's got some work to do. Dempsey, handball over the top. And again, the Swans have got a bit of pepper in their tail, I would think, the Swans, after Dean Cox's half-time address. And they're certainly tackling strongly. No one going anywhere. 45 out from their goal.
20 points down the Swans. Smith coming through the stoppage, handed it to O'Connor. High kick, hardly travelled 15.
Well
Wicks
done.
up, took the mark, and it's paid. So Wicks a strong mark as the ball came down.
Heaney's got him behind here. He'd be my target.
So Wicks from 60 all the way, almost a little too deep into the square, all the way over the pack and through for one behind. An annoying for the coaches, Lee.
Those
An
ones.
annoying kick.
Oh,
that one.
yeah. Yep. Even with under 12s and under 14s I coach. Long nothing points they are.
Cats waste no time and bring it in through Bailey Smith, who centres the ball down the wing to Martin. And there was a bit of chopping of the arms there by Blakey. So Martin with the free kick. Smith cruised past again, accepted it by hand, shared it with Dempsey, kept going. This is Smith's third possession in this attack forward. They've gone out towards Jack Henry, right forward pocket. He is sat on his backside and the ball goes out of bounds. So boundary throw-in, but good transition by Geelong. The Swans need to be able to break that up. It'll be a boundary throw-in on the outer side.
Ball to be thrown back into play. Swans get numbers into their defence. Neil doing the ruck work, worked his way to the front. To those Swans numbers went the hit though, and then a quick snap out of nowhere all the way to the line, and Melican tracking back takes the mark on his chest. Short kick to Lloyd, right back pocket here for the Swans. And he's called to play on, so he's forced to go back to Melican, who's at the top of his defensive goal square. Melican with a couple of options longer, and that's where he heads. It's a good kick as well, all the way to Sarong, who's got a runner outside. It's Mills, gives him the ball. And then Mills right over halfway towards the top of 50. Stewart, great. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it was a great defensive effort to get a spoil in. Umpire said he was holding McDonald at the same time. McDonald kicks inside 50. The money ball over the head of Heaney and out for a boundary throw-in in the left forward pocket for the Swans. They trail by 19. 3 minutes played, third term on ABC Sport. Andrew Mays, Ian Cohen and Cameron Ling calling it for you. Marnie Vinyl on the boundary this evening.
Cats by 19. You feel the Swans need to get busy on the score sheet, certainly in the opening stages of this third term. O'Connor extracted it, gave it to De Koning. Now comes the pace of Holmes as he sweeps across the goal face towards the broadcast side and marked by O'Sullivan. In the pocket, Humphreys cruise past, handball over the top. Zach Guthrie, normally good by foot. This time he centres it. Well, it's congested play. Bounces okay though to Jeremy Cameron. Gave it back to Martin. Short jinking ball. Wonderful work by Edwards from the Swans. Cameron goes off the ground. Edwards has got to go again. Cameron breaks a couple of tackles. Handball over the top towards Martin. Blakey arrives. They're under siege early, the Swans at this stage, as it comes back through Bailey Smith. Now Holmes. He's taken down to ground by Warner. Managed to release the Sharon. Martin goes around the corner. Martin goes around the corner. That is some sort of goal. And an early one for the Cats. Lead stretched out to 25 points.
Wow. Impressive goal from Jack Martin, and some of the second, third and fourth efforts by the Cats forwards down in front of us. Outstanding play. Just kept the ball alive. A couple of times it looked like the Swans had hold. Max Holmes, I think, was one. Good strong tackle from Warner, but just got his hands free. That is pure class by Jack Martin on the left foot. The little worry that we spoke about at half-time, Maisie, of Bailey Smith, do you free up James Jordan and maybe roll him onto someone else? But Smith might get off the chain. Smith's already had 5 disposals in this quarter, so he was well held, 8 in the first half. So now Dean Cox has got to start thinking, oh, hang on, what happens if Bailey Smith has a 20-possession second half?
So Warner trying to crack his way through the middle, but Smith ran interference, got the ball out. Umpire had called for it, and it will be a ball up just forward of the centre circles. Marnie, downstairs.
Just a quick one. Malcolm Roses Jr. has been officially ruled out. He landed awkwardly on the ankle in the second quarter, and it was a rolled ankle.
You had it first, Marnie. Well done in picking that one up, and that's his night done, unfortunately. Wow, big news with the small forward who kicked 7 a couple of weeks ago. Now at centre wing, Smith, hand pass over the top is intercepted, whacked forward by Blakey, gained about 25 metres, couple of players went crashing over. O'Sullivan the other way, hand passed it into the nose of Atkins, ran it as the tackler. Umpire was going to ball it up, called play on, out to Warner, into the forward pocket, overcooked the kick, and it's out for a boundary throw in next to the left behind post for the Swans. 25 points they trail by, 6 played, third term on ABC Sport.
It's that boundary umpire, just throw it in. Throw it in. He's taken, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, waited for the numbers there. Just chuck it in. Bad luck if no one's there.
If they're not ready to go. Brodie Grundy got it down to Heaney, went off the ground. Standing resolute though, Colin Jasny just absorbed all the punishment, and then a deft kick out to Dempsey. Still in the back pocket. Scoreboard just behind him. And so Dempsey brings it towards the centre of the wing area. And I reckon Dangerfield made the most of holding his opponent while appearing to be held himself. But in the umpire said, no, Patrick, I have seen through that, and you are not going to get a free kick. So the Swans have got the ball. Amadi, the marking target, right forward pocket, ball bounces away from him and out of bounds, right-hand side. So Cats lead it by 25. It's going to be hard work from the Swans from here, but we know at 9-1 and 7-3, this will be a cracking encounter.
And they can pile on goals quickly as well, Sydney, so they will fancy themselves almost whatever the margin is going into three-quarter time. Thrown back into play. Shallow throw in on that occasion. De Koning led the way to it. Got the hand pass away to Atkins, to Smith, to Mullen, who worked the 1-2 with Myers. This is all by hand. Another hand pass over the top and Manners away. Over halfway. He kicks and it shapes wide, and it's going to be a Lassu free kick. Just might have hit the wrong part of the ball there as it swerved from right to left and out of bounds. It will be a free kick for the Swans. Edwards to take it right half back.
So Edwards, short ball. That went 3 metres to his skipper, who actually kicked it long down the line. Curnow presented. It was Lloyd that sharked it front and square. Got it to Heaney. Gee, he was almost tackled while he was
Great
trying to take the
follow-up,
mark. Kolajasny was good. Now it's to Koning. They'll work it out by hand. Bailey Smith been busy in this third term. Brian Myers concedes back on the 45, but suddenly they're going to open the fat side of the ground. Zach Guthrie with the ball. Decides he wants the heart of Cardinia Park, and he goes in there. And Holmes marks now to Myers. So Myers had the run coming past. Holmes is impressive. Kick from him. We might have a mark from Henry. Couldn't quite get all the way through. In the end, sharked and kicked. Goal! Excellent work. O'Sullivan, 198 centimetres, and first goal of his career. So the Cats get to him in great numbers. Well done to O'Sullivan. It wasn't tidy, it wasn't pretty, but it went through the middle, Cameron Ling.
Oh, and he played Crummer.
What's he doing, Lingy? Crummer.
Small forward, just cruising on down. He took it cleanly at ground level, and then he just kicked the hell out of that ball. It was boom or bust, and it was definitely boom. It was a great contest by Jack Henry, and Connor O'Sullivan, the 200-centimetre defender, crumbed it beautifully, nailed the goal, and you love that celebration in game number 37, kicking his first goal. And that's nice when you can run back to fullback, having snagged one, and just turn to Charlie Curnow and say, where were you, mate?
I reckon he surprised himself. That's why the celebration was so good. Oh, it's all happening for the Cats this evening. They're in control of this one. Another centre break. Smith off to Koning. Hand pass was a little scrappy forward to Holmes. He might have been taken off it. Dangerfield swooped. Beautiful pickup. Delivers inside 50 to Martin. A1 footy from Patrick Dangerfield. And Martin with a shot to extend the margin even further beyond 6 goals.
Well, if Dean Cox has got any sort of stomach ulcer, it is currently screaming at him because he dropped the tag of James Jordan on Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith's had 10 disposals already this quarter. He had 8 for the first half. And what are we? Just gone 10 minutes into this quarter and he's already had 10 touches.
Jack Martin from 48. Just got under it a little, all the way to the line. It's punched over for one behind. Geelong 10-11-71. Sydney 6-3-39. The margin 32 points in favour of the Cats after 10 minutes in the third term.
So Riley Bice.
He's nearly gifted it to Sean Manor there.
He's got sort of World War I fighter pilot look about him, Riley Bice, with that Mushtaka. Managed to get it in, and they've progressed it to Lloyd. He takes the dangerous 45 degree. They've got to take it on like this too, don't they? The Swans, they work it by hand. McInerney sends it long, but he's only sent it to the Cats, and the Cats will repel. Humphrey, good kick. Brian Myers marks in front of the benches. Gives to Bailey Smith, that stat number 11 for him. Edwards raking handball to Holmes. Tried to tap it forward. Make it 12 for Bailey Smith. Gets it on the up to Close. Close, he got players out the back, and Henry marks. So Jack Henry, top of the square, easy mark, 12 metres out. How good was that? How good's Bailey Smith?
He is just unleashed in this third quarter. 12 disposals, 138 metres gained already.
Jack Henry missed one earlier on in proceedings. This one going to the Selwood end. We'll let the crowd tell the tale. And there it is. Jack Henry on the board as well. Lead stretched out to 38 points, Andrew Mars. This is turning into a bit of a shellacking against the top team.
Well, Maisie, you said to me at half-time, what does Sydney need to do? And I said, structural this and structural that. But you've got to be harder in the contest. You cannot get smashed at the contested possession. Where early on in the third quarter, it is 17-6 contested possession Geelong's way. So there just has not been the response of the Swans. And the Cats, they have come out breathing fire, led by number 3 in that white headband.
This is exactly the same as what we saw in the second term. Marnie downstairs.
Two very different vibes on the benches right now. The Cats, Jeremy Cameron, Tom Stewart, they're laughing with each other, and the Swans are looking very concerned.
Yeah, as they would be. This is an avalanche, a Geelong one. What can they do to get back in this one. Sheldrick in the middle now. He gets a clearance all the way up to centre half forward. A couple of players toppled over each other, punched away from that contest. Now Jordan fetches the footy, broke a tackle, got the hand pass out. Crucial ball to be won, and Hanley did it well. Off to Warner, centering ball. One grab, not quite the second. Coming in at the last minute, Cleary. Humphreys is there to clean up for the Cats. Off to Dempsey. Short kick is okay to Martin, who's this time presenting all the way up the park. Gets it to the run of Humphreys on his outside, who kicks over halfway beyond centre wing. McCartan with the fist in, did well at ground level. Cleary a fumble, and it's out of bounds just shy of centre wing. 11-11-77 Geelong. 6-3-39 the Swans. 13 played, third quarter on ABC Sport. You with Ian Cohen.
If this, sorry, Coach, just before you go, if this stat doesn't highlight the amount of run Geelong's got right now, I don't know what does. 34 handball receives to only 6 to the Sydney Swans in this quarter.
That's damning statistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blitzarves was taken a little high by Warner. Humphrey butted up again. It's right in the centre of Cardinia Park. And Basie, when you think about the fact that they did the Lions, now the Swans, Geelong are starting to have this mid-season role. So it's not over here yet, but gee, they're imposing at the moment. Swans try and get it going forward.
Grab.
And the mark, and it was a good grab by Hanley. So he feeds it off by hand. Riley Bice. Now it's Malikan. Oh, he just checks the kick momentarily. It was good to Amati. The fist from O'Sullivan was good though, and it created a 0-0 draw with close being wrapped up. 52 out from the Barwon River end. That's the way the Swans are going. Grundy just smashes it towards the boundary side. Unfortunately, the ball bounces and eludes Sheldrick, so we'll have a boundary throw-in where the arc meets the perimeter, and it will be set back in motion.
There's been some turnaround from the Cats after that loss to Port Adelaide. Thrown back into play. Grundy just palmed it behind the pack on that occasion. Wicks missed with his hand pass. Cats in there, and Martin again. He drops the footy, taps it out last moment. Sarong, high ball inside 50. Dempsey in prime position. Oh, Cleary did well to get over the top and make a last-minute spoil. Ollie Henry tracking back into defence. Cleary again to Hanley off the outside of the boot goal. Can that get them started? Tom Hanley kicks the goal. And here we go for the Swans as they try and get back into this contest. 11-11-77 Geelong, 7-3-45 Sydney, 15 gone third quarter.
And sometimes you've just got to do it through gritting your teeth. And Hanley did it with a mark over here about a minute or so ago, stood under a high ball and took a strong grab. Then a couple of his teammates just follow up effort, repeat effort. It's exhausting, but you have to do it. And then eventually, when you can surge it forward and you just get that moment to have an opportunity to score, you've got to kick the goals, and that's exactly what Hanley did there. They've just got to build it little bit by little bit now, the Swans, if they're going to be any chance heading into three-quarter time.
Jordan has now gone to Bailey Smith in the middle.
I'm not surprised.
He'll need a fire blanket because Bailey Smith is absolutely on fire, and he might get it here as well. Dempsey charged into it full-chested. In the end, the Swans managed to try and get it away. Heaney sends the ball to Amati, who takes a mark 20 metres out directly in front. It was broken play, wasn't attractive, but the Swans have got another shot on goal.
Yeah, but again, it came from the hunt around the footy. Just that, as you said, not attractive, and it's not going to be. You're not going to get fancy footy to get back into this one. So repeat efforts in the middle of the ground, and then Isaac Heaney, just the awareness, get it forward and deep and put defenders under pressure. And Amati used his body really well.
So Amati's kicked 2, needs to make it 3. Caresses the ball through and does make it 3. Important statement goals, a couple in a row from the Swans. They're not done yet. 77, 11-11-77, playing 8-3-51, third term action on ABC Sport.
And it simply must come from the middle of the ground. I read out the stat before around the contested possession. Geelong were, I think it was plus 13 or 14 for the quarter. It's now back to nearly even, so 20-17 Geelong's way. So it means in the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes or so, it has been heavily in Sydney's favour. So on your point, Coast, not pretty, just hunt around the ball. Whatever you do, it either goes the Swans' way or it doesn't go anywhere. That has to be the mindset of those Sydney midfielders.
Stemming the tide with a couple of goals here, Sydney. What have they got left in their arsenal for the remainder of this quarter? Big punch out of the ruck, gets it all the way to centre-half forward for the Cats. Edwards goes in and then hand passes to Atkins, who'll kick them inside 50. Low piercing ball over the back. Mills couldn't take the mark. Blakey, did he take on his opponent? Umpire said no prior. And he's going to ball it up left forward pocket. Not quite sure what the Geelong fans agreed down there next to him.
They're not known for agreeing here.
Tossed up. Not at all. Blakey over the top. Wins the clearance. It's an important one too to Cleary. Now to Bice. And Bice had nothing to go to, so he just kicks it end over end beyond centre wing. Awkward one to gather. Kolodjasny did well in the end. Now off to Edwards. He got his arms free. Got it to Atkins. Across half back. Important kick, and he finds O'Sullivan, who kicked his first goal earlier this quarter. Out wide to Mullen. Mullen looking for the release, handball over the top to Guthrie, who provided good run. Inboard to Smith. Wasn't the greatest hand pass, but Smith made something of it. Got his arms free, back to Mullen, kicks inside 50, no mark taken. Guthrie kept on running, almost got it. Edwards was, I'm sure, looking for the line. Luckily, would have been deliberate. One of his teammates got in there, got it to Lloyd. Quick kick out of there, and wonderful
grab.
Mark.
Oh, bad
Really-
corky for Atkins too.
Really from nowhere from Melick, and got up and took a great mark.
Adkins is certainly feeling that. Now the Lizard Blakey goes through the middle. Oh, Rowbottom dropped what he should have taken. Just forward of the swan side of centre. And he was then wrapped up by Stewart.
That's a late night of icing for Tom Atkins coming up.
Yep, that is going to be ice on, ice off. From the restart, it actually came out, but there's a whistle on play, whistle on play, whistle on play. Cats have to bring it back.
The sooner we go back to 3 umpires, the better. This 4 umpire system is an absolute joke. So you've got one on either side of that contest there. The free kick's paid. It is a clear advantage to a team. And then the other one sticks his nose in where it doesn't belong, and they bring it back. The advantage rule is there for a reason. The 4 system is an absolute joke in the AFL.
Well, it's not working at the moment. There's been a lot of whistle. Bailey Smith gave it out. Kolodjasny found Humphries. Driving ball, teeth of goal. The pack ascended but couldn't quite bring it down. At ground level was Henry. And in the end, it was conceded out over the boundary line. Was it McInerney that just wandered out over the boundary? Just a little stroll to get a hot dog and was not pinged. So the ball will come back in. Geelong, unsurprisingly, in attack again. Boundary throw in. This time Marty's doing some of the ruck work, tries to get it down towards Jordan. The hands were good. Bailey Smith, what a third quarter he's having! Finishes it with a goal as well. He is just everywhere at the moment, and so too are the Cats. Bailey Smith has just been incredible. He was the right spot, right time. 12-11-83 to 8-3-51.
Just needed half a chance there, Bailey Smith. What a quarter of footy. So this quarter alone, 16 disposals from Bailey Smith. He's now got a goal to his name. He's had 3 clearances as well. This has been some sort of response to a quiet first half.
Yeah, an incredible quarter from Bailey Smith. Now a goal to go with it. Marnie, downstairs.
Tom Atkins ended up limping off just before that goal. He's having his left hip assessed by the doctor and down some Panadol. Also, I'm not sure if this is the kind of commentary that you want, but after that goal, someone behind me yelled, "That's my daddy."
Well, he's definitely admired down here, Bailey Smith, that's for sure. And he is having some sort of third term.
If they're old enough to do that, I'm tipping it's probably not true.
And here he is again, getting the clearance off to Decoding in the ruck, forward to Holmes, who spotted Myers at the last moment by hand. Dummy once, kicked inside, beautiful stuff. All the space in the world for Close, who slides in on his knees and takes the chest mark. 45 out directly in front. He almost gave it to Bailey Smith, who was sniffing another goal.
He gave it to the Sydney players after he kicked the last one. If he'd snuck past for that one and nailed it, every Swans player would have known about it.
So Brad Close, who will go back to the top of his mark, kick 1 in the second. Spent some time in the VFL this year, so has worked his way back into this Geelong lineup. Will kick from 48. Has he got the journey? He does. He doesn't have the accuracy. Just pulled that away to the left. So one behind for Close. 1-1 for the evening for him. 12 plays 8-3, margin 33 points in favour of the Cats.
The Swans are really quick, but Humphrey was awake up to it. Got it just on half forward. Driving ball into the middle. Jack Henry got his opponent underneath it, found it at ground level, fed it out towards Brian Myers. He goes back to Jack Henry. Well, the kick was indiscriminate. Now it's just bashed forward by the Swans. They are under duress down there at the moment. De Koning, Neal, Bailey Smith. Oh, look away handball. Zach Guthrie right in towards the teeth of goal. No mark taken. Doesn't matter. Was almost kicked there by Henry. That time again, Jack Henry. Holmes will now have an over-the-top, off-the-shoulder type of shot. And that would have been a miracle ball. It was unsuccessful, goes through for a minor one. 34 points now the lead to the home team. Geelong absolutely in charge.
Well, we're settling in at the time. They tried to stem the tide, the Swans, with a couple of goals, but it's been the Cats ever since. And another turnover coming here. Smith almost intercepted. Out the back now, Cleary. Long hand pass forward is a good one. Turning and going is McDonald. It's a high ball. Papley v. Kolajasny. Papley did enough to create the contest. Leapt to his feet as well. Well done, Tom Papley. Burnt a couple of them. Hand pass just had a bit too much air. Curnow snaps the goal anyway. So the Swans answer the Smith goal. And boy, did they need that. 12-13-85. Curnow's first of the evening. 9-3-57 the Swans. Margin back to 28 points in favour of the Cats.
Well, they're certainly going to give it a crack to win at the Swans. It's not like they're thinking, oh, gee, we'll just go safe and slow it down for a little bit. The way they're setting up is if they get through that first line of the Geelong defence through the middle of the ground, they have plus numbers ahead of the footy, the Swans. So they know, and it's the way you should play. You may as well get beaten by 100 points trying to win it rather than just going safe and doing nothing. So they are rolling the dice, but when it gets through, it will almost end up in a certain Sydney goal.
Grundy over the top of the 20-year-old Edwards, who has been magnificent for the Cats today. No one going anywhere. Atkins wrapped up in a tackle, and we will reset just to the favour of the Swans. Edwards again wants to take it out of the ruck contest. Got a handball to Adkins. He's also tackled. Progresses it forward by hand though. Bice meets it. He handballs it back into traffic. Neal tries to take it out of that traffic. Missed Warner. Got to go back in. Here's Edwards this time for the Swans. Finds Lloyd on the outside. Lloyd drives it towards centre half forward. Player was thrown down to the ground by De Koning there, and I think it might be a free kick. It's not making the local fans very happy, I wouldn't have thought, but I reckon De Koning was maybe a little agricultural in his attack on Sheldrick on that occasion.
Yeah, need to see that one again on the replay.
Did Sheldrick trip a bit?
Well, it felt like Sheldrick actually misread the ball and went flying through, and De Koning almost let him go through, but that possibly is looking at it through some blue and white eyes there, Coase, which I'm trying not to do. But
open both eyes, Cameron Ling. Sheldrick runs around a bit on the angle, sends it towards the bar and river end, but it curves to the right-hand side, and he slims the margin by just 1 point. 27 points the ascendancy at the moment for the Cats.
Brought back into play by Stewart. Long high kick towards the boundary line. Edwards over the top for the Swans, and Guthrie is taken over the boundary line by Warner. We'll have a ball in 70 around from the Sydney goal.
Impressed with Edwards for the Swans. Just his ability to read the ball in flight, attack the ball in the air, has a marking potential, but also then to defend really well. Great size in only his 5th game of footy.
So they've kicked 3 of the last 4, the Swans, but still doesn't feel like they've got much momentum. Heaney with a clearance win. Hand pass to Rowbottom. High kick inside 50. Curnow, not quite. And is that deliberate? Oh no, it's out of bounds on the full, in fact. And so we will have a Sydney free kick. Papley raced over there. There was no chance anyone else was taking that free kick. And he's got it in the right forward pocket. He might try and curl this back with his left.
I'm glad you noticed that as well. He was flying to that one.
He was busy.
Yeah.
So Tom Papley. Sydney need this one. He steps inboard on his left. Bends it back. Bends it too far, too early. And through for one behind. 12-13 plays 9-5. Margin back to 26 points in favour of the Cats. Closing stages this third quarter.
feel the Swans just need a couple of late ones, keep themselves in the game. Humphrey takes plenty of acreage and then hoists it long. Good, strong mark. Good pack mark as well. This is your man Edwards, who had back and pelvis injuries when he was first drafted. Now he's looking to play some great footy for the Cats. They go through blitzarves. Cameron draws a crowd, tries to get it to Guthrie. Approaching game 150 for him this season. Guthrie dispossessed. Lloyd, just a hurried ball out. It's at right half back for the Swans. Numbers with them at the moment. Blitzarves charges his way through. Sheldrick's good. Handball Loopso finds to Koning. To Koning shares with Stewart. They concede back. Jeremy Cameron goes around the corner. Malikan in best position. Can't get to it. It bounces free. Bailey Smith's going to pop up with it. 60 out from goal. Centering ball from him. Close can't mark. The Lizard Blakey got across in time. Then has to concede by hand. McCartan high up and under hoist. But there is no one there except Edwards for Geelong. 206 centimetres. He's playing a great game. He sends it back. Teeth of goal. Early acceptance was way too early. Way too early from Ollie Henry. And the infringement will come back to Brodie Grundy.
Yeah, well done by Grundy. Got back there, stood strong. Ollie Henry was never in that one at all.
Certainly wasn't. Goes to Mills. Mills low ball made Sarong work. Now he weaves past, grabs the handball. They've gone out the Reg Hickey stand side. Sheldrick looping one over the top. What can they do and get busy here? Cleary inboard. McInerney, low ball from him is excellent. And McDonald is on the end of it.
Oh, they can still attack well, the Swans, can't they? They've been outplayed for big chunks of the game. But they kick this one here and just get it back to 20 points heading into three-quarter time. And their ability to score is always there. They would feel like they're a chance. This is a huge kick from Logan McDonald.
So McDonald, their leading goal scorer this season with 17. He's been pretty quiet today, though, and well held. He's going towards the Barwon River end. Makes contact with the ball. Goal umpire doesn't have to move too much. A really important one for the Swans. Game back on, you feel. 20 points now, the margin. 12-13-85 to 10-5-65 with 30 minutes gone, third term.
I don't want to simplify things too much because there's obviously tactics, there's obviously skill, execution, all of that. But I'm going to go back to that contested possession stat. So around about 8 minutes into this quarter, I highlighted the fact that Cats were again smashing the Swans at contested possessions. The Swans are now leading that stat this quarter, so 34-32. So since around about the 8 minute mark, the Swans have dominated around the contest and they're getting reward for their work. They've kicked 4 goals this quarter on the back of outstanding contest work through the middle of the ground.
4 of the last 5 too, really to shift some thinking here at Kardinia Park. Palm down only as far as Holmes. Holmes running through the stoppage, worked the 1-2 with Atkins, who's coming off half-back. Holmes onto his left, to left half forward. Close, couldn't take the mark. Bice got rid of him, won the footy. Hand pass to Lloyd, off one step towards the wing. What a hang! It seemed like he was up there for 5 seconds. Warner kicks inside, attacking 50. Another late chance. It is a mark. No, it's not. I thought it was in front. It could have been McDonald again.
Gee, that
I thought that was a mark. And Sydney really starting to put their foot down. From the stoppage, Heaney wins it, snap. It's out of bounds on the full, running towards the boundary. So Geelong free kick, and who would have thought? They just need to steady the Cats, and they're still in the lead by 20 points here at Kardinia Park. Dying stages of this third quarter.
So Swans kicked one on the siren in the first term and in the second term. Can they manage it in the third term as well? Jack Henry, just kicks it long, trying to find his brother Ollie. It was a 2-on-1. Ollie did really well. Taps it forward, keeps running. Ward is chasing him. Milliken just dispossessed him beautifully. Callum Mills, kicks it now towards the centre of Kardinia Park. They go through hands. McCartan driving ball. They need a mark. Amati might be there. No, over the back. It might be claimed. Is it claimed? Is this McDonald again? And the siren goes. I said they kicked one in the first, one in the second, and now they're going to shot in the third.
Well, great grab by Logan McDonald. Come back here, though, to the performance on the half-backs for the Swans. The work rate there. Ollie Henry just had to be better. That ball could not get rebounded. Instead, he just fell over with little contact, and the Swans straight through the middle. Huge kick, this one.
McDonald, Barwon River End. He kicked one just a few moments ago. Launches this one. He's now kicked two. Swans with the momentum going into three-quarter time, but they trail by 14 points. They kicked 5 of the last 6 to get themselves back into the contest. 12-13-85 to the Cats, 11-5-71 to the Swans, and this will be a cracker, Andrew Mays.
They have come from absolutely nowhere. Halfway through that quarter, the Cats led by as much as 38 points, but going into the final break, it is the Cats by 14. Goal kickers for the Swans, 4 to Amati, 2 to McDonald, and singles to Heaney, McInerney, Cleary, Curnow and Hanley. Meanwhile, for the Cats, 2 to Cameron, 2 to Henry, 1 each to Smith, Manor, O'Sullivan, Humphreys, Martin, Atkins, Henry of the Jack variety, and Close. So this is all set up for what will be a magnificent final term here on ABC Sport. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
This is going to be quite a ride.
Every dream restoration starts with something worth holding on to.
We were in love. We figured we'd work it out.
Restoration Australia.
This is magnificent.
Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
They're under siege early, the Swans at this stage, as it comes back through Bailey Smith. Now Holmes, he's taken down to ground by Warner. Managed to release the Sharon. Martin goes around the corner. That is some sort of goal. And an early one for the Cats. Holmes is impressive. Kick from him. We might have a mark from Henry. Couldn't quite get all the way through. In the end, sharked and kicked. Goal. Excellent work. O'Sullivan, 198 centimetres and first goal of his career.
Sarong, high ball inside 50. Dempsey in prime position. While Cleary did well to get over the top and make a last-minute spoil. Ollie Henry tracking back into defence. Cleary again to Hanley off the outside of the boot. Goal. Can that get them started?
Marty's doing some of the ruck work, trying to get it down towards Jordan. The hands were good. Bailey Smith, what a third quarter he's having! Finishes it with a goal as well. He is just everywhere at the moment, and so too are the Cats.
It's a high ball, Papley v Kolodjasny. Papley did enough to create the contest, leapt to his feet as well. Well done, Tom Papley. Burned a couple of them. Hand pass just had a bit too much air. Curnow snaps a goal anyway.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Three-quarter time at Cardinia Park. Geelong 12-13-85, leading Sydney 11-5-71. They trail by 4 points, the Cats, at quarter time, led by 20 after a dominant second quarter at halftime, and take a 14-point lead into the final term. Cameron Ling, though, that doesn't tell the whole story of that third term, which was a tale of two halves.
It absolutely was, Maisie. Really impressive by the Swans. They, through the second quarter, got badly beaten in contested possession. The first part of that third quarter, badly beaten in contested possession. And then they totally flipped that around and dominated that area of the ground. Their midfielders were winning crucial ball. Isaac Heaney was starting to have a little bit of an influence coming up from half forward, almost as an extra mid, and then getting forward. And then when they did go forward, they looked super dangerous. And yes, they were setting up to be able to score and score heavily, which puts them at risk of being scored against and the game blowing out a little bit. But they've given themselves a chance now. And even that last little transition of play where it looked like it was a Geelong ball going inside forward 50, really dangerous. The moment they won it, bang, back through the corridor and then to the Logan McDonald grabbing that forward line and finished beautifully. He kicked those 2 goals in that quarter. This is set up for a ripping finish. Both teams can score heavily, we know that. So that quarter, the Cats kick 4 goals 3, 7 shots at goal. The Swans kick 5 goals 3, 8 shots at goal. So they're going to keep coming. If Geelong can just have some composure and finish their work, and let's say the Swans in the first 15 minutes kick 3 goals, but Geelong can find a way to kick 2 or 3 goals themselves just with that good execution, because the Swans will give them that look because they're being so aggressive. It just means after 15 minutes or so, the Swans have thrown everything they possibly can, but the scoreboard hasn't moved at all. The margin hasn't moved at all. So the Cats, no doubt Chris Scott would be saying, don't panic, understand they're going to roll the dice and play super aggressive, super high risk. If we can have composure with ball in hand and make them pay while they're rolling the dice, then the margin's not going to move. We'll be able to take care of this. But Dean Cox will be urging his team, just go. Keep taking it on. Who knows what might happen.
And it was extraordinary to see, even when they were, on the ropes there in that third term, still taking huge risks through the middle, forward hand pass, blind kicks. They were super aggressive, and obviously it paid off for them in the second half of that third quarter. So margin now 14 points at 3-quarter time. Just checking in on scores at the G as well. It is the Pies leading by 23 points over the Eagles. Still about halfway through that third quarter. So we'll keep you updated with that score all the way through. But all eyes focused here at Kardinia Park. Players are set. This is going to be a massive last quarter. Huge comeback from Sydney. They have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. They were on the ropes, as I mentioned, and now they're going through the middle again. Smith, who had a huge third quarter, almost won the clearance on that occasion. Ball makes its way out to the wing. No one can grab possession as Atkins gets up off the bottom of the pack.
18 disposal third quarter.
I was on record watch, so 19 is the record. He almost equalled for the most in one quarter. And Sydney from half back work it through row bottom. Hand pass over the top is good to Lloyd, who goes to half forward. Curnow positioning himself in from the front. McDonald crashed the pack, couldn't take it on the way down. Curnow at ground level. He swung off it, still got boot to ball. Inside attacking 50. Steaming out of Marty. Hit it well. Gained himself a little bit of space, almost too much. Got the hand pass away. Now to McInerney, now to Cleary, who pulls the trigger and just misses.
Blitzarf's hurt himself, though, with that tackle effort.
Margin 13 points in favour of the Cats.
He's still on the ground, Mark Blitzarves.
Yeah.
2-time best and fairest winner at the Cats.
He had to rush in quick to try and execute that tackle. And I think the umpire's going to actually
send him off
force
for
him
assessment.
to the field. Yeah. Oh, no, they're going to play on.
Well, play on's been the call. Blitzarves took his headband off momentarily. Bailey Smith just racking up the possessions, gets it down the line. Martin can't quite mark it. Callum Mills did enough to upset the apple cart, and the ball goes out of bounds in front of the benches.
That record, by the way, Lingy, Darren Milburn owns that record for most disposals in a quarter with
Really?
19.
The 39.
Back in 2008.
Great player, Dash, but I could have had 10 guesses. I wouldn't have got to him.
Wrapped up in a tackle, you could hear calls for holding the ball was Cleary after the ruck contest. And just behind the writing on the wing, First Nations Doug Nichols round. Great celebration. As the Swans just try and push it forward again. O'Connor stands and delivers. Did he get rid of the ball appropriately? Holmes comes to his rescue and then just decamps. He just sold candy, then decamped, kicked it down the line. Henry in position A. He can't mark. That's Jack Henry. Goes over the top. Melican works with Mills and they get a squaring ball away. Now this is the challenge, getting it outside the back 50, Maisie.
Yeah, Rowbottom's though set up on the wing wide. They could get it to him.
And they've actually gone over Rowbottom's head towards Marty. Oh, Sullivan was brilliant in that contest. Worked his way to the front despite being out of position and took the mark, won the free kick anyway. He chips short from centre wing to Holmes. He gets it and goes straight away. Low piercing kick's beautiful, and he finds Cameron on the chest. Almost 50 out from goal, 10 metres inside the boundary left forward pocket.
It's an impressive contested mark by O'Sullivan, wasn't it? Against a strong player, just fought his way. He's only played 37 games, O'Sullivan, but you hear the way the coaches and teammates talk about him. I think one day he might have the little C next to his name.
Yeah, okay.
At the Cats. Still have quite a few years off, but one day.
He's an impressive young player. In comes Cameron from 51. What a shoe. What a shoe. That carried by 10 metres and never looked like missing. Jeremy Cameron has his third, and a big statement to start the final term. 19 points the margin in favour of the Cats, and we played 3 minutes in this fourth quarter.
It's impressive the way he hits the ball. He just makes it look so easy.
That was like a golfer, wasn't
Yeah.
it? When they hit it purely, he just struck that so purely, it never looked like missing.
He has kicked 766 of them, so I suppose he's had a little bit of practice, but yeah, just a beautiful swing, and from what you would say is the hardest side of the ground for a left-footer.
You don't even equate that now with Jeremy Cameron.
No.
You don't go, oh, gee, this will be hard for a left-footer.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come into the conversation. Ball back into the middle. Oh, De Koning missed everything. Grundy sharked it. High, lofted ball. Centre half forward. Guthrie just stood underneath it. McDonald couldn't get a run at it. And so Guthrie marks. Short little ball from him. Over the top to Adkins. Another local product as well. He goes to a man who's a free agent this year in O'Connor. O'Connor, driving ball. Gee, I thought that Jez was going to leap for that one. He couldn't quite get it down. Mullen couldn't get the ball away. Blakey works the 1-2. Now he's got to kick the ball. It's a dangerous diagonal. Really dangerous when Sam De Koning's there. Now he's got danger on the outside, and danger marks right-hand forward pocket. He was standing there, Cameron Ling. You were pointing at him. He was loitering with intent.
He was saying, please, Sam, see me. I've got no one near me. He's had to fight for every one of his possessions today, Dangerfield. He works so hard as that now permanent forward. But that one by himself, it's just where, like, please be in your vision.
Well, we talked about the 35s coming in, and neither of them have really had big impact. So Dangerfield sets it sailing towards the Barwon River end. There is not much that he cannot do. Brownlow medalist, all-Australian, captain of the club, 360 plus games, and Dangerfield puts his name onto the score sheet in the final term. 2 in a row for the Cats, 14-13-97, 11-6-72, Cameron Ling.
Because those 2 in a row, how special is it when the opposition has come at you hard at the end of the third quarter and they've got the momentum, they're feeling great, to have 2 very, very difficult set shots at goal, and your 2 champion leaders just go back and nail those set shots. Jeremy Cameron from the other side of the ground goes bang, and then Dangerfield from that position goes bang, and all of a sudden it's 25 points, and just to the rest of your team you go, hey, it's all right.
Yep.
It's all right. We can get back in control of this one.
If momentum was a balloon, they've just popped it. They were 2 excellent kicks. And Dangerfield having a run further up the park now. He wins the clearance, gets the 1-2. Ran himself into a bit of trouble. Still had his hands free, though. Got the hand pass away to Guthrie. Now out to Dempsey. Long high kick to the top of 50. The Flyers are there. No one could take the mark at ground level. Edwards, of the Swans variety, that is. Out to Bice and then to Wicks. Wicks kicks the ball out of bounds on the full. Under pressure again. So now the Cats can relaunch into attack.
So Geelong, Candy sold on the mark as well. And so in the end, the kick goes towards Martin, who elevated 49 metres out. I think the distance will test him. He'll probably be looking to offload.
But also, Paddy Dangerfield walks past, so just take your time, take your 30 seconds, let us set up the ground.
Yep.
So even if you don't quite make the distance, the Swans can't rebound immediately.
So now he has a bit of a false start. Now he sets himself for the shot, runs to try and gain some extra distance. He might have said, Koza, what are you talking about? In the end, he pushes it across the face, and a minor one. 26 points now at the margin for the Cats.
And the quick kick in is almost turned over there by the Cats. Oh, in low and hard was Martin. And was that too high? No, umpire said ball it in. So they've gained about 65 metres here, the Swans, but all of a sudden they've got to get going and get going quickly. 26 points the margin, rather. 8 gone, final term. Toss back into play. Half forward here for the Cats. Martin tried to get a finger in again. Now a chance for the Swans through Warner. And to McInerney, who hand passed away. It was holding the man, and he should receive the free kick on centre wing.
We can't complain about that one, sorry, Cats fans.
It's just held up.
Warner almost gave that handball too early because it allowed De Koning to come across.
Yep.
So now McInerney chips inboard to the edge of the centre square, on halfway, Mills. High ball, risky ball across half-back. Not opting to mark there was McCartan, went the fist instead. And Cameron did well to run interference. Might have been shoved to ground. Umpire said play on. McCartan received the footy in the end. High ball. O'Connor almost takes the one-hander. Right half-back, and then was dragged into the ground holding the ball. Didn't dispose of it properly. Rowbottom, good tackle. Hand pass inside to Bice. Bice, long and high over the top of Amati. Needed just to hit that a little lower to give Joel a bit of a chance, but it's out of bounds in the left forward pocket before Ann Cohen. Marnie Vinyl downstairs.
Not great news for the Swans. Tom Papley is also out now with calf tightness.
Okay, so Papley hasn't had a lot of involvement, but they will miss his zip down the forward line, that is for sure. And that's where we are at the moment. But the zip might have come from Rowbottom. Couldn't get the kick away. Amati can round the corner, but he has missed just about everything. It scrapes in for a behind. So the Swans at least need to try and keep it in the forward 50. They trail by 25 points. They need repeat entries.
Myers receives the kick in from Holmes. Right back pocket. Myers goes as far as he can. Ollie Henry got in front of Grundy there and took an easy mark in the end. Just read it better off the boot.
Dangerfield, Neal, Cameron as the long options if they wanted to go there.
Goes short instead on the 45 and finds O'Connor. Half back. He goes further out wide still to Stewart. Stewart takes the mark. High kick to right half forward, over the head of everyone in fact. Bice is at the back of the pack. Has to paddle it to his own advantage. Kicks around the corner. A bit too much on it for Sarong. It's back to Stewart, who goes inboard to the edge of the centre square. Mark taken by Myers, who doesn't mind hitting up a target inside 50. Goes shorter this time and goes wider to find Cameron. Cameron rolling around, goes back to Myers, who found some space. 55 from goal, kicks inside, close. Oh, juggled and almost dropped an absolute pud. I reckon it might have hit him on the bonds as well on his way down. And he regathers. Luckily didn't drop it. Takes the mark. He'll line up 40 out directly in front.
He does a mountain of work, Brad Close. He almost runs himself to passing out exhaustion. And just for that moment there, took his eyes off the ball and... love to see him get some reward for all that hard work he does.
So Brad Close from 40 out directly in front, gets close to the man on the mark, but kicks the goal nonetheless. He's got a couple. And Geelong have steadied in this final term, answering the Sydney charge with 3 to start the final quarter. Geelong 15-14-104, Sydney 11-7-73. Meanwhile, at the MCG, a bit of a comeback here from the Eagles, closing to within 9 points of the Pies. Another shot for goal coming up for them, which they missed. So the margin is back to 10 points in favour of the Pies, with a minute change left in the third term. Here, though, 31-point advantage to the Cats. Geez, they've been professional, Cameron Ling, in answering the call.
Yeah, they have. And it's that composure that we were talking about at three-quarter time, where Swans are throwing everything at them, rolling the dice, being super aggressive. Chris Scott's calmness to say, hey, it's okay. Let's think our way through this a little bit.
So Edwards got this going towards the Cats' direction. Martin hit it hard from centre half forward. Blakey was with him. They bobbled the ball around. Blakey had to try and get it out, and in the end is successful. Jordan got it across to Lloyd. Lloyd keeps it on the outer side of the ground, looking for Curnow. O'Sullivan there, and is good enough to spoil away. So at the moment, between Curnow and O'Sullivan, they've both kicked a goal each. Ball goes out of bounds.
Bet you O'Sullivan would love Charlie's pay packet.
Yes.
He might get it one day. The way he's going.
True.
So ball to come back in. Edwards and Amati engaged this time. Amati just got it down towards Jordan. They share with Lloyd. Jordan hacking ball, no mark taken. Really good front and square from Guthrie. Feeds it back by hand to Stewart, to Humphries, who's been busy, and he finds Dempsey with a deft kick. They're still inside the back 50 though.
But they've always had that little release, and that's the importance of that winger just holding his width. Under pressure there, Humphries, he just turns and needs somebody, and Ollie Dempsey was the one, and it was a nice kick to Mitch Edwards, who spilt it over the line.
Had it in the bread basket and out of the bread basket, and you could see him throw his head back. Ball went out of bounds on the outer side, in front of the big bones of the Reg Hickey stand, Moorabool Street side. Ball comes back into play. Edwards and Amati again engaged. This time Amati got it out the back door. Went with the left peg. Kolodjasny couldn't cut off the lead of Curnow, who marks. The boy from Torquay, just down the road, and his brother Ed grew up down there surfing. Now finds himself in Sydney town.
Yes, plenty of locals in this Sydney team. Well, a couple at least at the bookends.
Yep.
Charlie Curnow's the forward and Tommy McCartan. I think Charlie was a college boy and Tommy was a good Joey's boy like myself.
Yes, where would we be without Joey's? So Curnow, can he get one over the top of O'Sullivan? They've got one goal each. He fires towards this Melbourne City end. High ball, plenty of elevation, good-looking ball. Curnow has got one. Make it 2 for him for the evening. And it's 25 points now, the margin. 15-14, 104, 12-7, 79 on ABC Sport as we head downstairs to Marnie.
Most of them were pretty quiet just then, but I do have an official crowd attendance for you, which is 35,869.
That's a good turnout. Not surprising given the quality of these two teams coming into the round. First versus third. A terrific crowd. So now we look back to the Swans. So the margin... Back to that 25 points, as you just said. They put their absolute A-plus grade mids all in here, knowing this clearance is crucial. So Heaney, Warner with Grundy in the ruck, and James Jordan still trying to do that job on Bailey Smith.
Back in the middle. Can they get a clearance here, the Swans? Edwards down low. Oh, tapped away of Jordan, though. Jordan snaps out of congestion. Humphreys just worked row bottom underneath it nicely and got the hand pass away to Dempsey, who wasn't as clean as he would have liked. Still got his hand pass to Stewart, though. Off to Myers, who got it inboard. Now a long kick from Mullen to full forward up the top. It's a big punch over the top for one behind.
Gee, that was good. Who got their hand to that one?
McCartan, I reckon, was out the back of that pack.
He had to time that perfect.
Read it nicely, yeah. I don't know why we're checking, because I reckon I saw that up here.
And given it deviated by a good metre or so.
Given that the cameras are based in Lara generally.
The player's hand. Decision on scoreboard.
26 points the margin in favour of the Cats. 15-15 plays 12-7. We've played 16 minutes in the final term.
You talk, Cameron Ling, about 4 umpires. Why do we not have 2 goal umpires? The same as League and Union and Liney's and Touchies. We've elevated from 1 to 4 in the middle, from 2 to 4 around the perimeter, but the goal umpire is still expected to cover 18 metres of goal face themselves.
I'm with you. We can change that as long as we get to take one of the field umpires there and stick him in the goals.
Do a trade.
Right. The kick-in came in and it was scrambling and it went out of bounds on the right-hand half-forward line for the Cats. So we will reload. I don't know why we don't have 2 goal umpires.
Good point.
So close, sharked it, and then in the end he was just dragged down as he was kicking it, and so the errant kick went out of bounds on the full. Oisin Mullen stands the mark. He's done a pretty good job, you would suggest. He's had Heaney most of the day. Swans now send the ball towards centre wing. No mark can be taken. It hit Brodie Grundy as he was on the ground. He'd been forced there by an impact with Edwards, and the clearing ball comes to close.
Mullen's done a good job, but Heaney's also played pretty well too. Yep. He's just managed to take the top end off Heaney, but Heaney's still contributed and been dangerous.
Mark O'Connor with the ball.
Right half forward, he'll drive the Cats inside, attacking 50 yet again. Big punch over the back there by McCartan. He finds the boundary line. Lovely defending in the air. And we'll have a stoppage right forward pocket here for the Cats.
Just organising behind the ball, the Cats. So Edwards is back as the ruckman behind the footy. Kolodjasny and O'Sullivan set up as that last line. Just happy to buy some time locking in this forward end.
Grundy palms it down in front. Neil got the hand pass away, which was excellent, to Myers. Snap to the top of the square. Dempsey read it nicely off the pack. He was looking for Jack Henry, who drifted down, and he absorbs the tackle. No, it's high. Got low enough. Wins the free. And Jack Henry will line up left forward pocket for his second of the evening.
And he's played an important role. So he hasn't had that specific one like he did last week on Harris Andrews. But he's just been there to make sure any high ball, any long ball that comes in, it must come to ground. Do not let Blakey or those types of players intercept mark and kickstart the Swans game.
So in he comes, Jack Henry. Left forward pocket, kicks and misses. tugged it to the left for one behind. 15-16, 106 Geelong. 12-7, 79 the Swans. 18 gone, final term.
So the skipper takes some ground in front of him and then shorts it up to McCartan. Goes by hand to Bice. Bice with the outside of the left boot. Was a little bit cute, but it may well work. Malikan, Sarong, they work together. The looping handball, though, was too good. It was a telegraph pass, and O'Connor saw it and then was then taken out of bounds with a strong tackle from Cleary right in front of the benches.
And sometimes what O'Connor did there, you just have to do. You take the tackle, you don't let it cough out, and just let everybody set up again. Because a loose ball there, the Swans probably swoop onto it, and it's a really dangerous attacking play.
It certainly is. I might have seen one of those in the third quarter.
Yeah,
actually.
I think you're right.
Might have. O'Sheen Mullen turns attacker now, kicks it long, 30 metres out. Henry can't mark it. Malikan is back there. He's under siege, though, and it's a squirreling kick that will go out of bounds, and it might be a lasso because it went outside the 50 only by a metre, but good enough for Dempsey to be able to send the ball back in. I don't think he can kick a goal from here.
No, he's quite talented, but I think even this is beyond him. So he's just going to look for that late little lead.
There he goes. Now he just lowers the eyes. Send it towards Neil. The effective punch is good from the Swans' defence, and they'll get a chance to reload down the outer side. Curnow just got rid of his man. No free kick. Cats fans wanted it. Curnow's waiting for the cavalry to arrive. The Swans almost out of gas, so he loops a handball. It was an unusual one. The player didn't see Dempsey coming, and the Cats are away again.
Had options inboard as well, Curnow. Went a little outside. It was an odd decision. Myers kicks inside 50 in front of Cameron, who picked it up very cleanly. He's taken over the boundary. No. Ball stayed in the end. Blakey has it. Aggressive kick to the middle. Atkins spoils. Holmes onto it. Kicks to full forward. Close. Over the back. Gets through everyone. Jack Henry couldn't get his boot to it. It's through for one behind. I feel like we're going upstairs again.
I think you're right, Maisie.
The player that got caught was James Jordan with that looping handball from Curnow.
Yeah, he got smashed, didn't he? It was an odd decision because he had a runner on the inside and then went outside to where all the Cats were.
That's why it's hard to tell.
Review here. So it's clearly come off the Swan. Well, we can see it on the replay, but...
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball comes off the Sydney defender last. Decision on scoreboard.
So through for one behind, another rush behind. 15-17. They've been a little bit wasteful, the Cats, especially in that second term. 15-17, 107. 12-7, 79. Margin 28 points. Comfortable for the Cats. 21 played. Final term. You're with Ian Cohen on ABC Sport.
So Anastasio Bice with the kick in. Goes towards the outer side. Good lead and good open space from Malikan. So Malikan, 51 out, close to the boundary. His team trails 107-79, 21 minutes gone, final stanza. So he shorts it up, not a bad option. McCartan's been pretty good today. He continues the progression across the ground to Wicks, broadcast side. Wicks sends it back into the corridor. Bice. They're doing it by degrees at the moment. Sarong with the ball. I would suggest Swannies at this stage, you need to be going right down the middle and very quickly, not conceding backwards on a 45.
No, but Geelong is set up quite well. They're desperate for that kick. That's the one the Swans wanted, and they missed it.
Bice just overcooked it. Smith's at the back, although Swans get number to the fall of the ball. Blakey's in there. Quick hand pass to Wicks, who got out of traffic, takes a bounce at half back, kicks to half forward. Warner has it as a player. Cleary out, and he hits him. Oh, he hits him. He hit his chest. It bounced straight up in the air, and he took it on the second grab.
So what the Swans are doing is they're sending just multiple numbers forward. And again, they have to do it. So it was 4 or maybe even 5v2 in their forward line, Swans' advantage. The risk is Geelong have got the numbers through the middle of the ground. So if it turns over, it's going to be going the other way. And the Cats can kick the goal. They get through, they're going to get a shot at goal, which is exactly what's happened. He's got an option on here too. So you're going to ignore it.
Cleary from 49 gets under it. He's got the distance, but not the accuracy. Away to the left for one behind.
So I don't mind that by Dean Cox. Just that's a tactic. Let's see if we can just pile on 3 quick goals and make Geelong nervous.
It's all or nothing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Tactic. Stewart, the man scouted by Matthew Scarlett, kicks it towards Mark Blitzovs. And Blitzovs marks at right half-back. Blitzovs shorts it up. I like the busyness of Humphreys. He's just everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
Gives it across to Holmes, who's also been really busy. So is Dempsey. Gee, they've got them lining up now. Dempsey out of side of the ground. Waits.
Look at that work rate from Holmes.
And Holmes, who was the one that delivered it, got all the way towards the white paint on the outer side. He's kicked to Grundy. Grundy spills it though, then goes down to ground. Kolajasny came through. Adkins, Neal. Neal just high, lofted ball. Jeremy Cameron territory. Goes out the back. Jack Henry's there. He goes to ground again. He just needs to keep his feet. He would have kicked a couple of goals. Instead, the Swans sweep it away. But they're looking for territory. It bounces. It's going to be a lasso. It's going to be a Cats free kick. 25 metres around from the benches. So they'll go back into attack again.
And they can afford to do a little bit of this. Just kick and mark. Not take too many risks right now. They've got the advantage of the scoreboard and the clock.
Collingwood by 16 at the MCG. Start of the final term there. Humphreys has it on the wing for the Cats here, where they lead by 27. 24 played final term. Clash of two teams we expect to go pretty deep in September this year. Myers has it. Pulls the kick expertly. The last moment to Cameron, who marks 55 from goal. Could he go the barrel? I think he's thinking about it.
Oh, come on, Jez, just for the crowd's sake.
He's pointed.
35,000 in the house.
He's telling the umpire he's going to have a crack.
Come on, Jez.
So Brodie Grundy stands the mark. He'd be 53 metres out. He's going to have to kick this 60. He is going to go the barrel. It's come off the side of the boot, and it's going to almost land in a teammate's lap, although going back with the flight. Nice mark by Lloyd.
When your name's Jeremy Cameron, you can get away with that too. The coach won't say anything about that one.
Lloyd from the Swans, short. He receives the 1-2 to McCartan, who was rather flat-footed, taken down by Humphreys. Turnover ball for Geelong. Now just steady things up here, the Cats, as they look to close this one out. It's been a very impressive performance this afternoon.
Yeah, when you're up by 27 and the game's just about gone, you can do that sort of thing. In the end, Humphreys kicked it right across on a 45. The mark wasn't taken, so the run will come from the Swans. They'll try and work it out. Riley Bice almost ran himself in and out of trouble. Looping handball's okay, and they progress it to Curnow, who's still inside the centre square. Curnow, sliding ball on the outside to McDonald, who marks 48 metres out in front of Stewart.
Can go over the top to Heaney. Thinks about it. No.
Well, now he's got to go back and kick it.
Yeah, kicked them beautifully in that third term when he kicked the 2 set shot goals. Should have the distance, no worries.
Had some ankle issues late last year. Good to see him playing some good football. Added to his 17 goals so far today. That is a genuine shank, and there is no one standing on the goal line.
Yeah,
so
50 as well. That was poor by Cleary.
Cleary
I don't know the rule.
Well, O'Sullivan took the mark right on the goal line between the post and the goal post, and then Cleary talk us through it.
Yeah, it was within the 9 metres, and he just stood there. And everybody knows that rule. You have to come straight back to level with the top of the goal square. It's a simple one, and just cost his team 50, and now Geelong can go back into this mode of just burning 30 seconds, a minute off the clock.
We saw that with Archie on Thursday night as well. He just stood there in the goal square, so it must be frustrating for coaches with players just not understanding that rule.
Well, O'Sullivan had shared it with Humphreys, who sent it back to O'Sullivan, who's now given it to Guthrie.
Guthrie short over the top to Myers, who takes it at half-back. Myers has De Koning short in the middle, ignores him. Just happy to absorb a little bit of time here.
And they can come back to O'Connor here if they want.
Did have O'Connor. He just nurses it over the top of the man on the mark to Humphreys, who goes straight up the middle and finds Blitzarves, who's turning around looking for a hand pass. None were coming except for Humphreys, who arrived later than everyone else. Off his left, inside 50, Cameron couldn't take the mark. Now chances for McInerney. He was looking for the 1-2, ignored. Edwards, hand pass over the top. He does receive the 1-2, and then he just jams it on the boot as far as he can. And O'Sullivan will eat that up for breakfast every day of the week. Takes the mark.
Been very good, O'Sullivan.
And he will relieve the Cats from left half back.
So O'Sullivan been important. Blitzarves, who's been working very hard to get back and help in defence. He's got acres of room to be able to fumble, pick it up, drop the ball, write his name on the Sharon. And now he just hacks a ball down towards the benches. Blakey came over the top to spoil. Now strong tackle in there as well from McCartan. Says the ball is going nowhere. And it might be Mullins is last to get off the ground.
Impressive stretch of 3 games for the Cats, hasn't it been? Collingwood, Brisbane in Brisbane, and the ladder leader, Sydney Swans.
Has certainly been really good. Heaney got it going forwards. Cleary marked, shared with Amadi. Amadi's kick is horrendous because Stewart was 2 metres in front of his man, McDonald, and he kicked it straight to him. Now they go across the ground again. Guthrie. Humphries is just racking up possessions on the outer side. Hear the crowd roar, tries to square it in towards free-range Jeremy Cameron. He can't mark. Siren sounds. Big win for the Cats. 15-17-107 to 12-8-80. Geelong, imperious form in the middle of the season.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. At home or far away, our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park.
So a big win for the Cats this afternoon, 15-17-107 to Sydney, 12-8-80. They trailed by 4 at quarter time, led by 20 at half time, 14 at three-quarter time, and the final margin, 27 points. Goal kickers, Cameron with 3, 2 to Henry and singles to Smith, Manor, O'Sullivan, Humphreys, Martin, Atkins, Dangerfield, Henry, and a nice win for Geelong.
It's always our ambition throughout the game to fight with all our might, because we're the mighty blue and white. And when the ball is bounced to the final bell, stand up and fight like hell.
So a big win for the Cats. They really were issued the challenge in that first term, and it looked like it might be a tough afternoon for them, but goodness, they have issued a competition-wide warning with their last 3 quarters there against Sydney, who have been so impressive so far this season. Geelong moving up to, or staying in 3rd place on the ladder. Sydney losing top spot to Fremantle this round. And the Cats, you mentioned, Lingy, their last 3 rounds, unbelievably impressive. I'm not sure what you thought. Sort of stagnating through the opening stages of the season, and then that Port Adelaide loss, everyone sort of thought, oh, maybe, just maybe, this will be the year that they slip. But, geez, their last 3 weeks have been impressive.
Been really impressive. You're absolutely correct. And it goes to show that calmness around clubs that have been there and have performed to a high level consistently. They don't panic, but it was a pretty poor loss against Port Adelaide. And then I was actually at this ground just as a fan watching the North Melbourne game, and I would have said for 2.5, nearly 3 quarters, they were pretty ordinary in that, and North probably had their chances to beat them. Then they had that monster last quarter and ran away with it. It looked comfortable, but I wouldn't have said they were in form. And going into this 3-game stretch, Collingwood, Brisbane in Brisbane, and the Sydney Swans, the risk was they go 0-3 and they're way back. You'd probably have happily taken 2-1. But to get out of it 3-0 and play this type of football must fill them with so much confidence. 32 shots at goal to 20 today. It was a dominant performance, and the margin could have been even healthier. They've played some players back into form as well. Sean Manners' performance last week was a highlight, 30 touches and 5 goals. He wasn't in form early on in the year. I reckon there was a couple of mids who were just going a little bit. Some of their defenders, Tom Stewart, probably wasn't influencing games as much as he had in the past. Now they've patiently worked them back into form, and they sit right with that top bracket of the competition.
Just in terms of those options forward as well, I mean, this hasn't been a blitz from 2 or 3 players over the last 3 weeks as well. I mean, as you said, people like Manor standing up. We've seen Brad Close come back and contribute, having been in the VFL earlier in the season. They just seem to have that depth to be able to call on, and then their better group of players are playing well.
Absolutely, yeah. And in that forward line too, you think about it, obviously Jez is the number one man and amazing. But in the first 4 rounds, I reckon he was just going. And that's on the back of that bad broken arm he had in the grand final, interrupted pre-season. But they just were patient with him. Their best small forward would be Tyson Stengel.
Yeah.
If he was playing and if he was fit. Obviously, he hasn't been in the equation at all. So they just have multiple other players who are stepping up and saying, okay, well, I'll play this role this week. I think Jack Martin did a bit of a role on Nick Blakey today. Yep. Jack Henry did it last week on Harris Andrews. They can all fit into a system that works really well. Now, the Sydney Swans will be bitterly disappointed with their performance today. They were badly outplayed. But we also still saw glimpses of why the Swans have been so good. They have that power, that ball movement speed that's going to have them there at the end of the year. But they can leave today's game thinking, okay, we need to tidy up this and this against the Cats. If next time we play them, we're going to be able to knock them off.
It's funny because when you look at the two midfields, probably the only criticism you could have of the Cats, they've got a deep midfield, but it doesn't have like that superstar power like we see with Sydney with Heaney and Warner, and maybe that's underrating Max Holmes and Bailey Smith a little bit. But the midfield battle tonight, I mean, Geelong will take huge amount of confidence out of that.
And I think, and your statement's a correct one, Maisie, that it's the perception is they don't have that absolute superstar, megastar. I disagree with your statements. I just think we've all been a little bit slow to catch up. I think Max Holmes is a megastar. You talk about any of them. Nick Dacos, Zach Butters. Marcus Bontempelli's done it for longer, so he sits in a whole different stratosphere. Max Holmes belongs in that group. He was the All-Australian 44 last year, and I thought it was pretty stiff to not be in the actual team.
Yep.
He is just an out-and-out lock for the team up to this point of the season. He is game-breaking, dynamic. He wins contested possessions. He lights things up on the outside. He kicks goals. He sets up goals. 35 disposals today. But the balance of 13 contested possessions, 6 inside 50s, 8 clearances, 715 metres gained. He had one shot at goal. He usually ends with a goal a game. I think eventually, come the end of this season, we will be talking as though Geelong has a true superstar in that middle of the ground.
Yeah.
And it's Max Holmes.
Yeah. In terms of Bailey Smith too, just a word on his game. I mean, was outplayed in the first half, and that third quarter was something else, Liggy.
So in 3 quarters of footy, he had 15 touches. Yeah. In the third quarter, he had 18 touches. And you could tell, because knowing Chris Scott, he wouldn't have gone and got into Bailey Smith at half-time and said, you need to lift or anything like that. That's not Chris Scott's style. I think Bailey Smith, the competitor, probably sat in the rooms at half-time and thought, I'm getting beaten here. I'm not having any influence, and I don't like this. I need to lift. I need to run harder. I need to work to more contests. And he just came out breathing fire. And I think Dean Cox also made a little bit of a blue. He dropped the James Jordan tag. Then worried and thought, oh, hang on, Bailey Smith is just getting the ball at will. Then put Jordan back onto him. But the horse had bolted a little bit by that stage. 18 disposals in a quarter will say that to you.
So a big win for the Cats. 27 points, the final margin. Let's get a bit of the atmosphere inside the Geelong rooms. Marnie Vinyl.
As you can imagine, the vibes are very high in here. And I have to say, it's really beautiful seeing all of the Indigenous Guernseys. Jack Martin, of course, got a goal, and his sister is here in the scarf that they designed and just absolutely loving it. I think they're about to sing the song. They're getting ready and geared up, but yeah, a lot of joy on these faces.
Not in too much hurry either, the Cats at the moment. Scott O'Sullivan's finally in there.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. Hey, we are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. Hey, at home or far away. Our hat is flying high from dawn to dark, down at Carina Park.
So the Cats there, 27-point winners, as you can hear in the song, pretty content with how things have gone. We're about 6 minutes away from closing out here at Cardinia Park. Just an update from the MCG as well. Look like the Eagles were just about out of this one, but they have kicked the last couple and are now back to within 3 points of Collingwood with 7 minutes left on the clock in the final term.
They couldn't, could they?
It would be an amazing comeback, considering there's 90,000 screaming Collingwood fans against them there at the MCG.
Well, forget Pendlebury. I mean, West Coast beating anyone's a really good thing. Beating Collingwood at the MCG in Scott Pendlebury's record breaker, that would just be the biggest of apple carts that would be turned right over.
We've seen a few teams take a couple of big steps. At the top of the table, we've seen Geelong issue the warning. I think, towards the lower half of the table, we've seen North Melbourne take a step today with their comeback. And if West Coast could win here, that'd be a huge step for them too. So Richmond even last night as well. So Pendlebury actually coming off with 7 minutes to go.
He's got to change the jumper again.
And the one team that we seem to just subtly not talk that much about and now sitting top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Freo just keep getting the job done. And it's not ridiculously spectacular or anything like that, but it appears to be sustainable finals-like football that's got them sitting pretty up on top.
We'll get some reaction from the Geelong rooms if we've got time. We've only got about 4 minutes to go. What we might do, Liggy, just in case we do grab someone before we're out here, we might just grab the votes if you've had a chance to have a look and give us your 3, 2 and 1 on ABC Sport.
Absolutely. Apologies to Connor O'Sullivan for the great job that he did down back, but I've given one vote to Jeremy Cameron. Kicked the 3 goals, but also at times drifted behind the ball, wandering around. What did you call him?
Free range.
The free range Jez. Ended up with 21 disposals and was just terrific. 2 votes to the man who helped with his sister design the jumpers the Cats wore today, Lawson Humphreys. He had 33 disposals, but he just controlled things from down back when Tom Stewart was being reasonably well held in the first half. And 3 votes to the man I just said before is going to be recognised as one of the absolute megastars in the midfield of the competition. Max Holmes with his 35 disposals, just a heap of run and game-breaking play. I thought he was superb from start to finish. Bailey Smith got the nod in the third quarter. Max Holmes did it for the entire game.
Yeah, he was excellent. Max Holmes, so 3 votes, 2 Holmes, 2 to Humphreys, and 1 to Cameron from Cameron Ling as Geelong ran out. 27-point winners, 15-17, 107 to the Swans, 12-8-80. Eagles moving forward. They've conceded a goal, but chance no. So it's a Collingwood free kick. So I thought they were going to get a chance to answer that goal straight back, but it is Collingwood by 9 points at the MCG with 6 minutes remaining in that one. In case you missed the early result today on ABC Sport, a huge comeback from North Melbourne, who were 38 points down at halftime. That got out to as much as 43 points and won it with a Cam Zurhaar goal after the siren. After a controversial free kick that was not paid advantage, Zurhaar got to take his kick and delivered for North Melbourne. So a big win for them, and as we mentioned, it makes the road ahead for the Gold Coast Suns in the next 4 weeks pretty tough for them as well. So plenty happening at the top and the bottom of the ladder. Just a word on the Swans. Majority of our audience is listening to us tonight throughout New South Wales and the ACT. Lingy, what do you think the message will be for the Sydney team coming out of this one?
Yeah, I think just a little reminder that, yes, they're really dangerous. Use the ball beautifully. They're outstanding with their ball use and their attacking play is great. But the Swans can't just rely on that as the only way of winning. Sometimes when a team as good as Geelong were playing tonight and around the ball were sharp, you just have to arm wrestle your way back into the contest. And that's what they did in the third quarter. Remember, they flipped the contested possessions around completely. Some ugly, scrubby kicks, hard-fought ones that they just got it forward, put the Cats defenders under pressure, and they scored goals from it. And for the only time in the game, it felt like Geelong were a little bit, hang on, so they're coming at us here. So a little reminder that, yes, we want to play this brilliant surgical slice and dice football, but there also needs to be another way that we can handle the opposition, and we can't be beaten up around the ball like as badly as we were today. So not a panic at all. They're a terrific team, but a little reminder from Dean Cox to his players, sometimes it can be an ugly game and we've got to fight it out better than we did tonight.
Just quickly, we've got a minute to go. You're in a team like that who could slice and dice so well in the 2000s. What about, was there any word that you had to sort of change gears?
Yeah, so we often, our number one priority was the contest and defending first, as weird as that might sound. We thought our skill and ability and flow of play, that would take care of itself if we got the other things first. So you've got to be careful not to think, I'm just going to play amazing, skillful footy. You've got to put the fundamental foundations first and then let your dynamite skill and running ability and game-breaking ability be the icing on the cake. So just, Swans, what you put first is important, and then your skills will shine.
So a big win for the Cats this evening. Lingy, thank you very much to you. Great to always be with you in the commentary box. Koza, great to work with you. Lee
Thanks,
on the
Maisie.
buttons, Marnie downstairs, and Renelle back in the studio. Join us for more footy coming on the ABC Listen app.